Hello, everyone, and welcome to Culture of Gaming's Power Up Podcast, episode 117, being recorded live on May 16th, 2020. I'm your host, Taylor.
I'm Mike Soul. How you do?
And I am Anthony Dennis. You probably know me from other podcasts already.
I'm sure longtime listeners will probably recognize Mike as well. Anyway, we have one hell of a show this week, not necessarily on the news front, but more onto the water cooler segment, but we'll obviously get to that in due time. But anyway, so as we usually like to kick off the show with what we've been playing, Mike, what have you been up to this past week or so in gaming?
Yeah, so it's like you said at the start, it's been a while since I've last been on the podcast, and I admit that while I have been sticking to my usual games, for some reason I decided to pick up Warframe, and ever since for like the last couple of weeks, that's basically been the game I've been focusing on solely at this point.
Okay.
I don't know why, but for some reason Warframe has my attention right now.
Okay.
Nice.
And anything else been dominant, or just Warframe been totally dominant?
Well, I mean, I kind of jump in between Warframe and the Monster Hunter, kind of back and forth, but it's kind of more like an 11-hour Warframe to like a 1-hour Monster Hunter.
Oh,
right
gee,
now.
wow, okay.
But it's gonna get to that point though, where Warframe is gonna start wearing out its welcome here pretty quick. But until we get to that time, for some reason, that game's just been holding my attention throughout. But yeah, outside that though, there hasn't really been much else on the game front for obvious reasons. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully, as we move into the summer, there may be some more good games coming up, but we'll see what happens.
So you had no interest in like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Persona 5 Royal?
Oh no, well, I mean, I need to get to Persona 5 Royal, and I'll hopefully get to that in due time. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I did go ahead and play through that one, and I had a blast with it, but that was back in March.
Okay.
So, or no, not March, April.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, no, April Final Fantasy VII Remake had my attention. I'll get to Persona 5 the Royal in due time. And, you know, if I feel
Royale.
like if things are, well, the Royale or Royal,
Yeah.
however you want to
Just
say it.
checking.
Yeah,
Persona
as
5
soon
Battle
as,
Royale.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Keeping away from one Royale and just gonna stick with the Royal, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, no, in due time though, I'll probably pick up Persona 5 Royal in case if I see like this drag goes on for too long.
All right. Fair enough.
Sure.
Anthony, what have you been up to this past week since you last talked to the people here?
As this week, I've been playing some Apex a couple of times this week. I have yet to check out Season 5.
Bruh.
I wanted to before coming on the show.
Okay. You've
Any
cut
thoughts
out.
on the latest character coming in?
Have I cut out?
You're back now. We're good.
Oh, there we go. Okay. That was
No,
good.
I was just asking if your thoughts about the latest character in Apex, what your thoughts on her are.
Okay, so from what I've read, we actually do have a breakdown of what she does and how she adds to the team, I guess, on the site. So you can go over to culturegaming.com to check that out if you wish to. As far as what I've read about her, I haven't played as her yet, but she seems to basically be a better lifeline.
Okay.
So her passive ability is she can basically see very high tier loot through walls, and also people when they use their ults as well. And also her Q ability allows her to, what's her Q again? I think it allows her to cool down so basically because she's a hacker and like a thief as well, she can open up this vault thing that just appears out of midair. And any person on your team and on an enemy team as well can take 2 pieces of very high tier loot. So basically that's why I say she replaces Lifeline, because Lifeline's care packages, usually bring down high tier loot as well. But this mechanic, or this Q ability, allows her to do to give a team more stuff and 2 things per person as well. So, you might pick up a better gun or a better piece of armor or whatever, whereas on Lifeline's care package, you can only pick up, there's only 3 slots. So basically 1 slot per team.
Okay.
Usually it's the person who calls it down who gets most of it. As far as overall, I think she's going to be an absolutely fantastic member for any team to have. She doesn't heal people, no, but her teamed with Lifeline and maybe even a mobility Legend or something like Pathfinder, I think people will be unstoppable, to be honest.
Didn't Pathfinder get nerfed a little bit?
Yes, he did. So his zip line, so not his zip line, but his grapple here. That's on a 35-second cooldown now instead of a 15-second cooldown. So they've basically doubled that.
Okay.
And I think his zip line is also longer as well. Aside from that, he's basically the same.
Got it.
Yeah. So I can't remember what Loba's third ability was. But yeah, anyway, I'm very keen to check her out and see what's going on and how she plays and all that kind of stuff. I might actually put some money into Apex. I have yet to. I think I've put $10 into it.
Okay.
I've
Respectable.
unlocked
Respectable.
Well, just really fast that for that people who may have jumped from Overwatch over to Apex Legends, a lot of people were of course comparing her with Overwatch's hacker, especially considering that her ability is the transportation bracelet. Where she tosses her bracelet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
To where it gets tossed. Where
that was
in that circumstance, I could definitely see how that could be helpful to be able to get a jump on someone. So that should be fun to see implemented.
Particularly in like World's Edge as well, because World's Edge is very open and like alternating terrain, and quite often there's always a team on higher ground and a team down low, particularly like around the city areas and all that. So if you can toss a bracelet up to like a second story of a building, one of the balconies, you're set, really. Like you can take anybody out and nobody can really get up to you. So that's why I say as well, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I reckon they're going to have to nerf her pretty quickly as well, because she's going to be overpowered, in my opinion.
I mean, that's how it works with all games that introduce new characters.
Yeah.
That they always introduce them to be overpowered, and then they'll go to nerf them over time.
Definitely. What I am most excited about, though, with Apex is that, so the person I mainly play as is Mirage, and if you know anything about Apex, he, basically duplicates himself. So his ult is, he disappears, and multiple, copies of him appear around the battlefield, basically. And you can basically sneak away so then you don't die, or you can get a jump on someone. And his Q ability is, a decoy escape, which is, or just his decoy, where a decoy basically runs in a straight line wherever you're pointing. They've changed that mechanic now, where basically with his Q ability you can control his decoy as much as you want, and basically run around wherever you want, and it lasts, I believe, 15 seconds. And also with his Z or Z ability, he also, so with his decoys as well, you don't camouflage now, but you run away, and everybody, all of your other, decoys run with you as well, but in separate directions, and basically mimic what you're doing. So you don't disappear now, but you can kind of really confuse people. So I'm very keen to check that out, because that's who I mainly play as. And I'll stop talking now. But aside from that, I've been playing some League. So yeah, got back into that.
Yeah. All right. So this past week for me has looked like a lot of Minecraft, a lot of League, I will say. That's pretty much been the two games dominating my gaming time lately. And also been playing some World of Warcraft, actually.
Ooh.
The game is still not great with the current expansion. Hopefully the next expansion will pick it up. So I'm just doing some collectible stuff and everything, just kind of a mindless grind if I'm ever super duper bored or anything. So yeah.
When's the next expansion come out?
Sometime this year. I'd predict maybe August or September, I'd say. Possibly
I
is.
don't recall that the whatchamacallit, the sky gained shattered or whatever. I don't think that, or I could have sworn I mentioned it previously in a previous article in the past, but I think that might have been Overwatch 2, though.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that considering the circumstances of how during the last financial year, Blizzard literally had nothing on them, that they might have been trying to push them towards getting some stuff before 2020.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of slipping the mind if that was the part of the rumor mill or not.
Okay.
Probably the rumor mill, but if I recall that correctly.
I mean, we've had discussions on the podcast before about how Blizzard operates in this very bursty revenue model and everything, which isn't necessarily as appealing to investors as is a steady state of income and everything. So
Activision wants their money now. They don't want to wait for it.
Right, exactly. So yeah, hopefully Shadowlands improves it. For what I've been hearing
Not
about
there
the
we go, Shadowlands.
Huh?
Oh no, I forgot what the name of the expansion
Okay.
was.
Yeah, that's the NES expansion. I'd say it'll release as late as December. Oh, I mean, herder. Obviously, it's before the end of the year. As late as it should release is December, right? I mean, Warcraft has really liked to do like the August September release window and everything, but with obvious world circumstances possibly impacting production. It could get pushed back to December, just like Cataclysm got released in December, so there's some precedent for it. That expansion. Anyway, I do kind of digress. But anyway, that's kind of all I've been playing this past week. So pretty simple. Been going back and forth on picking up the Final Fantasy VII remake. Really not sure whether or not to do so.
Honestly, if you're looking for someone who has only played Final Fantasy VII very casually and just got the remake just for the hell of it, I'd say it's worth it.
Okay. Yeah, pretty.
I mean, mind you, is it perfect? Of course not. No game is perfect, but it's definitely a solid 9 out of 10 game that would be easily recommendable to anyone who has a passive interest in the Final Fantasy
Yeah,
VII.
Sure.
Apparently, the dialogue is real bad. It's kind of funny.
Oh.
Well, no, it's not the dialogue was bad. It's that it's just hilarious to just see it play out because it's like, they're not holding back any punches. That you're going to have characters cussing a hell lot more than they should be. A lot of suggestive dialogue that will push the T rating.
Okay.
No blood, but, close enough to it. And if you're a diehard Final Fantasy VII fan, chances are you're probably going to get pissed off with how things get played out.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
sure.
I'm not a diehard Final Fantasy VII fan, so...
Yeah, so all the more reason you're probably going to enjoy the remake.
I have, no real vested interest in the series. Outside of maybe Final Fantasy XIV, which I did enjoy my time for, but god, just grinding through that story content is insane in Final Fantasy XIV. Anyway. Alright, so, and I should also mention as part of the intro segment here, Matt will be joining us later, but he's late because he sucks at planning. So, anyway...
Accurately.
Anyway, so the main site is thecourseculturegaming.com. Head on over there, find the latest gaming news, reviews, opinion pieces, editorials, analysis, tech, anime, etc., etc. And then there you can find a link to our community Discord where you can chat with everyone you see on the podcast and as well as the rest of the staff. And then also we have 2 Facebook pages, one for the main site and one for the Power Up Podcast. They are facebook.com/thecod network and facebook.com/powerup podcast, and then Twitter @the COD Network, Instagram @Culture of Gaming, and youtube.com/Culture of Gaming, and twitch.tv/Culture of Gaming, where the podcast is recorded live every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you want to listen to all the previously done recordings of the podcast, you can find a full archive on anywhere you get your podcasts, whether it be Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Spotify, Podbean, etc. Anywhere you can find the podcast, you can find the archive. And if you really want to watch us go through the podcast, also you can find the video recordings up on our YouTube channel, which is once again youtube.com/Culture of Gaming. All right, so jumping right into the news segment, bit of a slower news week. I'm not too sure how far we can stretch any of these stories out, but the first little bit is, well, who here is an Elder Scrolls 6 fan?
I'm black.
Or I should say Elder
in
Scrolls fan in general, right? Skyrim's good game, Oblivion good game, Morrowind good game, Daggerfall glitchy but good game.
Oblivion's better.
Arena good game. ESO is decent MMO.
Yeah, ESO's decent. It's not good, but it's not great, but it's decent.
Yeah. So, fans of the series have been, since 2011, pretty much waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, right? And when we got the first teaser trailer for Starfield, I think this was E3 2018?
2 years ago.
Maybe? This would have been E3 2018, when Daddy Todd Howard was up on stage at Bethesda, and for the Bethesda conference, and talking about Fallout 76 and as well as Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. After he debuted the Starfield teaser trailer, he also what just happened? Oh, okay. The positions on the overlay switched as Anthony, you turned off your webcam. Fantastic. Hello.
So I guess I'm Anthony now.
Yes, hi Anthony. How are you? It's not like I have the name
doing
tags
well.
anyway. Anyway, so yeah, he was up there, did the Starfield teaser, and then we'd also got that teaser of Elder Scrolls 6, that panning landscape shot over what people are still speculating precisely what land that might actually be. Well, it's been both Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6 have been quiet for some time. You know, literally since E3 2018. Where is Anthony?
Oh, there he is. He's
there he
coming
is.
back.
Yeah.
I'm here. I was just changing my microphone because it kept pulling out, so I apologize about that.
Okay.
Cord kept slipping out of its slot, so now I can move it around more.
Excellent.
And actually talk into it.
Excellent. All right, so anyway, so Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield have both been really quiet since E3 2018. This guy on Twitter decided to @Pete Hines, who is like the president of marketing for Bethesda or something. He's the senior vice president of global marketing and communication at Bethesda. We've seen him on stage at E3 quite a bit during the Bethesda conference. Anyway, so this guy @Quentin Myers on Twitter added Pete Hines asking, all right, check it out. Let's cut the shit. When can we expect some info on the Elder Scrolls 6? We need this. Bethesda, Elder Scrolls, Xbox Series X. And then Pete Hines says, it's after Starfield, which you pretty much know nothing about. So if you're coming at me for details now and not years from now, I'm failing to properly manage your expectations. Wow. That's,
Yeah. Predictions.
At least he's admitting a failure on that standpoint, but that's beside that.
That's one hell of a response to just a question, bro.
Elder Scrolls 6 2030 release.
Wow, that's a bold prediction.
At least we would get it quicker than the Final Fantasy VII Remake, so at least that's positive.
Very true. Okay. So despite the overall childish way that Pete Hines responded to it and everything, kind of like aggressive and everything, can you tell he gets asked this question a lot?
Yeah, no way. No surprise, really.
Yeah, and so it's I don't think this is necessarily new news, but it's just like
it's just a recap kind of thing,
right? I mean, because this exchange on Twitter happened earlier. Isn't it kind of weird that, like, okay, completely discount Elder Scrolls 6 because, you know, that little trailer that we got at E3 2018 was just to let people know, hey, it's happening or whatever, right? Just in case anyone was wondering, because it's not like Skyrim didn't print money a few times over.
I mean, if it doesn't print money, you could always just go ahead to just re-release it on a newer system, and it could print more money for you.
Right.
PS5.
It is kind of weird that we haven't seen anything from Starfield in literally 2 years, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd like to think that because of the literal fallout of Fallout 76, that because of how that one kind of crashed and burned, that 2019 was kind of a scramble of just trying to get everything together, and you know, even now still trying to get things together because, you know, Wastelanders did go ahead to address some of the issues with the game, but it's not like everyone's flooding back straight into it, though.
Mm-hmm.
So it honestly seems like, because I know that when it comes to, like, the big, super big announcements of this and that, in this case, Starfield and the 6th Elder Scrolls title, that I kind of figured that we probably weren't going to see it anytime soon. That, you know, maybe a slight teaser, maybe in June had E3 still happened, but honestly, I would kind of figure that, you know, we probably weren't going to hear anything else at this time.
Right.
Or at least for both games for the time being, because I kind of figured they were going to be next-gen titles.
Yeah, like, I knew ES6 was very long ways off when they showed the teaser and everything, and I believe I'm on record at saying, because, you know, we did, like, the full coverage of E3 2018 and whatnot, I believe I'm on record saying in, like, the post-show for that, being like, Starfield won't come out until next-gen. So it looks like that prediction is coming pretty accurately. It's still maybe during the summer of games, of various summer games events, we'll see Starfield show up. But again, I still think it's kind of weird. We haven't seen anything from it in 2 years.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm just used to companies just announcing their games years in advance, and then we just literally don't hear about them until a year later. Okay. Like, you know, if you could pick any game from Microsoft or Sony's presentations. And it's like, okay, yeah, God of War. They announced that well in advance, and we didn't hear anything about it until that same time next year. So, but I guess that in this circumstance of it being about 2 years now, that one's a little bit hard to say. But again, like I said, Bethesda's kind of in that position where they're getting shot at from all directions. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, they're just going to continue the radio silence until further notice.
Okay.
With regard to Starfield, I think with how Bethesda has. So you got to think about it like this: even though these games aren't very good, they've done, updated Fallout 76. Fallout when that came out 2017, didn't it?
No,
What?
Fallout 76 was 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they've released Fallout 76 around the same time that they did at E3. And yes, they're showing trailers. They barely showed anything of Starfield. They've barely shown anything of ESO. Elder Scrolls. Sorry, I always say Elder Scrolls I always say ESO instead of Elder Scrolls.
Nice.
But so they've churned out Fallout 76. They've churned out Wolfenstein. They've kind of published Doom as well. They've done 3 games in 2 years, which is, development and stuff takes time, and marketing and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like Starfield is probably still a couple of years off. We probably would have seen it at this year's E3, I'd say.
Had there been an actual E3?
Yeah, if there had have actually been an E3. And also, as well, I think we may see it in the Summer of Games festival that is happening between May and August, I think it is.
Okay.
So we might see something from it there. It might show up in a State of Play or an Inside Xbox or whatever. I think it's just a matter of giving them time. The problem is with Elder Scrolls is they've shown it, well, they haven't really shown it, but they've teased it far too early, in my opinion. And yes, people are asking, are you doing Elder Scrolls? That's fine, but maybe just say, yes, we're doing it. We've got nothing to show. It's still a while off. Get out in front of it kind of thing and set expectations correctly.
Okay. So you definitely think there was a failure to set expectations?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Because they never said, hey, everybody, this is 5 years off. Just calm down. Or, hey, everybody, this is 4 years off or whatever. They never actually said that. They just showed a teaser and then that was kind of it. It's the same with Starfield as well. I think they really need, every developer, and particularly big developers as well, need to actually set deadlines for stuff, in my opinion. It'll be happening around. Not set a release date, but just be okay, it's still this many years off. Otherwise, hype dies. People, lose interest in games and stuff.
Yeah.
Same can be said for Death Stranding. I had basically fully lost interest in that game because they showed far too much of it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait, they didn't show far too much of it, but they did too many events of not showing anything. Make sense?
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. It was they kept trying to... It was fun. I remember, I was very excited for Death Stranding, and what was...
Yeah.
Overall, in my opinion of the game was a very experimental game, definitely, and everything. I was just kind of excited to experience it. It was I think maybe I would rate it a 7 or 8 out of 10, maybe total. It wasn't perfect game. It was definitely experimental. Various criticisms of it, etc., etc. But yeah, it was very fun. A big part of the marketing for that game, I thought, was kind of unraveling the mystery piece by piece as each little 2-minute bit trailer dropped and everything, right? And that was very, very fun to do. And then just the more and more events, the more and more content that we got out of it is just okay, It suddenly became too much. There's less and less of a mystery now. So
yeah, no, honestly, yeah, for some reason a lot of companies have been doing that way too much too, because I can tell you that if you've been following the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailers, they actually did show one particular scene that was very, very spoiler heavy that they probably shouldn't have, but they did anyway. So when it actually happened in the game, I was kind of well, gee, I'm not so shocked about this because I saw this coming a mile because you showed it to me. But yeah, no, with Death Stranding, though, that got to a point where it's okay, yeah, I think we could start piecing together what's going to happen here now.
Yeah.
And this isn't just aimed at Bethesda. Obviously, we've given examples for Death Stranding and Smash. I feel like developers in general need to change the way they announce and the way they trailers and stuff as well, and gameplay trailers specifically. They need to change how they do that in with announcing stuff and all that kind of stuff, because otherwise it kills hype. It shows far too much of a game, and why play the game if you can just watch a trailer?
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the reason why that not to start a console war, as stupid as that sounds, but that's kind of the reason why I'm a little bit anxious whenever I watch the Sony conferences, because, do they have great game announcements? Of course they do. But the problem, though, is that they usually have their game announcements so many years in advance where it's okay, so you announced the game, and now like 2-3 years later, you're finally going to go ahead and get the game.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
known.
you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but it just feels like, you know, they focus so much on the future
Too early.
that sometimes I forget what's going to happen in the meantime until we get to that point.
Yeah, and it's
I feel like that the long term is planned out, but the short term is more up in the air, so to speak.
Okay. It's like, you know, we're going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima later, and it's just like, that game got announced in like 2016 or 2017. We first saw it at E3 2018, also, like, really got to see it, E3 2018. And then, like, it went quiet for like a year and a half, and now, about 2 years later, here we are. You know, it's on pending release. So, anyway.
And, like, people forget. I mean, when Ghost of Sushi, as I like to call it, was first announced, you know, I was hyped for it, and I was keen, and, you know, it looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just fully lost track of it, and I'm like, oh, that's right, this game exists.
Well,
and
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to say now I'm less excited for it than what I was initially.
Okay.
Well, here's my concern, because I want Ghost of Tsushima to be good. We'll get into further details on that in a second, of course, but my hope is that it doesn't become another Days Gone.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially.
Sure.
Because, you know, Days Gone, that was also really hyped up. That was going to be like the next big game out of the Sony platform. And then it was like, it was okay. Maybe not great, decent. But it's like, you know, the hype kind of died off because of how long that one took too. Okay. And it's like, you know, and that's the thing though, because it seems like God of War's the only game in recent memory that could get away with being able to announce it so far in advance, and then, you know, we could wait for it for several years. That even, you know, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I joked about that earlier, but, you know, that one was one that a lot of people were anticipating alongside with Kingdom Hearts 3 to a lesser extent, but yeah, no, God of War,
maybe we're just haters.
Away with that.
Yeah, maybe we are just haters, you know?
Oh, please, I've already admitted that I'm a hater. I've got nothing to hide.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like...
Please be gentle.
I know, we've had this conversation quite a bit on the podcast, so it's like, how much is too much showing a game, right? So... this is kind of on brand for us, I'd say. And, you know, it's just like, there is definitely something to be said for, like, you know, just let us play the game. Let us discover it for ourselves. People, it's like, that's how it used to be. Yeah, and it's just like, I will critique the hell out of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for unveiling the full roster before, you know, before. It's like, just let people play the game and discover it for themselves, okay? You know?
Although Smash and Nintendo specifically have been on point with their, you know, DLC characters. Yeah. And I love how, like, with, you know, Banjo-Kazooie specifically, you know, they've so they announced it, or they announced the characters coming to the game, then they, like a week later, they released them, didn't they?
Yeah.
So people were really, 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 really hyped. And then bang, they've got the character. And it's like, oh, we don't have to wait 6 months to get him or get them.
Yeah, and it feels... Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no.
No, go for it. It's all good.
Yeah, no. The good thing about that one was that Banjo-Kazooie was paired up with Hero when it was announced back at E3. And then, you know, while we got Hero later, we didn't know when we were going to get information on Banjo. And then, of course, that's when we got that same-day release for Banjo-Kazooie, which was a really good idea for them to do. And it feels like with the upcoming character from ARMS, I feel like that's going to be the exact same situation where it's like, whenever that they get around to showcasing which ARMS character is going to Smash, chances are they're probably going to say, oh, by the way, you can download it today, and download that character today.
Wait, he's still not in-game yet? The ARMS character?
Well, all we know is that it's an ARMS character, which is one of 15 choices.
Okay.
And I did write about it for the site. It's on there right now, talking about both the history of ARMS and which character I think it could be. But we don't exactly know who it's going to be. A lot of people are thinking that's going to be like a Bowser Jr. situation where it's going to be like, okay, you got 8 characters from ARMS. They all have the same move list. Go nuts and pick your favorites. And that sounds like a good idea, but the problem, though, is that they designed ARMS where all the characters... you know, give or take a few exceptions, but, you know, all the characters are unique in their own aspects of how they actually punch each other.
Sure.
So it's like, I feel like that it's either going to be that they're going to take like 2 or 3 characters or 4 characters and give them like maybe 1 or 2 alternative outfits each, maybe. And then maybe you can get away with doing that. But I can't imagine they're going to have 8 separate characters. You know, it'll be a surprise if they do it, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Okay. So
It'll just probably be skin alternations, if anything.
yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, the thing is that you have a character that has a counterattack. You have a character that
Yeah.
can stay up in the air for a while. You have a character that could be able to take hits and still be able to attack. And then
Yeah, sure.
a character who uses hair instead of her arms. But the point is though, there's a lot of uniqueness in arms that a lot of people kind of overlook if they're just looking at it from the cover.
Okay, fair enough. So I just, in conclusion, developers and publishers trying to get a handle on what they show when in terms of games and everything, because considering it's been 2 years of literal dead silence from both Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, in Bethesda's case in particular, that indicates to me that they showed it off. Even though it was literally like 30-second teaser trailers that revealed nothing, they announced it / showed it off very early.
Stop the presses.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
Okay.
Well, Matt,
Guess what? The
you are
overlay's
now
broken.
the new Anthony.
Hold on, let me just switch scenes here.
Oh,
I
sick.
believe it or not, I'm
I'm-
ready for this.
Oh, my
Oh!
goodness.
You're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready
Still
for
don't
this.
have a
Just
working
gonna-
webcam.
Boom, do a quick change. Done. Overlay fixed. Awesome.
The
Yeah.
color scheme's a bit out, Matt, too, by the way. Like, you're
Say that
a bit white. Like, grayish.
Yeah.
I know. I quickly joined. There we go. That's a better balance.
Yeah,
Turn
it's
you up a little bit too.
The white balance was pretty nasty. Then again, my camera resets to a solid 0 on white balance on the coolness scale, so I don't know why it does that every
Whoops.
time.
Okay. All right.
I haven't even
um,
looked at the dock. I don't even know what's going on.
Look at the dot. We're just finishing
We
the
were
Bethesda
just-
segment.
Yeah. We're just
At
discussing
the very top of the
how-
news.
Oh,
We're
so
just
I'm
discussing-
not too late now.
No.
Stop interrupting me. We were just discussing
Well, that's
how...
what I do best, Anthony. That's what I do best.
how developers, showcase games far too early and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And
All right.
yeah,
very
yeah.
true.
We
Right,
are
yeah.
wrapping that up now.
But,
Yeah.
Well, there was one other thing I just wanted to quickly ask you guys really fast in regards of the whole thing about the Elder Scrolls 6, and that's of course the whole situation of how Bethesda loves to use a 20-year-old engine of sorts, or I don't know how old the engine is specifically that they use.
It's been
Whether
since
it's
Morrowind. 15
Yeah.
years.
Okay, 15 years, so
wait.
2 decades.
So
a good
wait,
guess,
was
but-
Morrowind? If Morrowind was released 15 years ago, it's probably around closer to 20.
The engine is, it's gonna hit 20.
Oh, Wait, didn't they do a new engine for Fallout 4?
No.
Ah.
Didn't we? Wait, didn't we
no,
discuss this
no.
a while
So,
back?
so
Oh no,
they're-
trust me.
What
if
they
you follow
did is
the-
they
I'm sorry.
what they did is they added enough patches to it to make it seem like a
Oh,
new
sure.
engine. But they just keep
Okay.
patching and patching and patching the engine. They
Okay.
never actually built
Yeah.
a new one from the ground up.
Well, no, there's a reason why a lot of people were laughing at Bethesda when the whole situation came up. Why the hell are there Fallout 4 characters in Fallout 76? Why am I being told to, go check on the, random people at the civilization of this and that if they're not supposed to exist for like another 100 or 200 years or so? But
Yeah, Fallout 76 literally uses Fallout 4's engine with a multiplayer patch applied to it by the developers.
which is why the game is so broken and can be so easily horrendously torn apart by
That's why-
hackers
Yeah.
if they wanted to.
That's why any Bethesda game is broken.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. Part of me is also kind of wondering this too, because Starfield is probably going to be the next big game from Bethesda, hopefully, of course. But part of me wonders, are they actually going to take the time to make a brand new engine so that they'll have something new to work with going forward? Or are they really going
Hell
to keep
no.
falling back to the same engine that they must have been using for, again, almost 20 years now?
Supposedly
they're
they're
gonna do.
doing a new engine for Elder Scrolls 6 at least. But what about with regards to Starfield, I couldn't tell you specifically. So, okay.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you Starfield being run on whatever engine they're currently using for every other game.
100%.
The Morrowind engine.
100%.
It'll probably be the
Look, I'm pretty good at predictions.
maybe Wolfenstein engine.
That would not translate well to an RPG.
We would not. They don't have enough. Like that's.
That's one.
Really?
That's one of the big criticisms of that Wolfenstein game that came out, where it's like the cooperative one or whatever. Is
Hell
like,
yeah, dude.
yeah, well, I don't know, I forget the name of it or whatever, but the one that just like fairly recently came out, where it's like the twin sisters or whatever.
I want to say
Yeah.
it's Twin Blood, I think.
Okay. But yeah, that was one of the criticisms.
Oh,
of
Youngblood,
It's
that's
just
what it
like
was, Youngblood.
whatever.
Youngblood,
Okay, whatever engine they were using for it, definitely did not handle the tacked-on RPG elements all that well. And so, just kind of like how Frostbite didn't handle Andromeda well because of the RPG
I was about
elements.
to say the exact same thing.
Or is there another game?
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of.
Yeah. Anyway, so real quick, Matt, what have you been playing this past week?
Oh, what have I been playing? Well, some Counter-Strike as usual. Not been playing any Eve because I'm trapped in a wormhole and I'm waiting for somebody to fix that
I
issue.
don't know what to tell you.
Oh my goodness.
And I've been playing quite a bit of Minecraft actually, and I actually am repping one of my Minecraft shirts.
Nice.
What is it?
A periodic table of Minecraft with all the old, like the 1.0 fucking 1.0 blocks.
Goodbye, PG rating. It was nice knowing you.
Get
All
one
right.
curse word allowed.
All right. Discord likes to just randomly reposition people, so the specific video position I had for mine is now occupied by mine, which is why he looks kind of weird. Anyway, we're moving on.
That's because didn't Anthony turn his camera on and off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I did. That's why I switched positions. Anyway. All right. So
now I'm stuck staring at Matt.
Nice.
I can't get rid of it.
Yeah, so anyway, Tyler, you want to get to the part for the reason why you actually brought me on after who knows how long?
Yes, let's talk about Anthem. It's been a month and a half, by the way, Mike. I checked.
Yep, and that's why I'm back, guys.
Yep.
Literally
all right, we're
for
talking
this
about
one
Anthem
reason.
because, well, interestingly enough, it's been quite a bit since anything's happened. So last time we had an update from Anthem was in realistically February. Technically, we got like an art drop in April from a blog post on BioWare, but that doesn't really count. That was just kind of like whatever here.
No.
There wasn't nothing new. It was like, here's the
updates.
art we displayed at Comic-Con. Go ahead and download it, and that was it. So this is the first actual Anthem like blog update since February. Okay, with regards to how they're kind of moving forward with the game, overhauling the game, etc. And I'm going to refer to the next iteration of the game, like the overhauled game that is supposedly to be as Anthem Next, by the way. That is the tentative title. So anyway, BioWare, May Anthem update by Christian Daly on May 15th, 2020. Hot off the presses as of yesterday. All right. He says, hi all, my name is Christian, and I am the studio director for the BioWare Austin office that is leading the production of what we are exploring next for Anthem. Nice to meet you. He didn't do the previous blog post, by the way. I believe this is the first blog post he's ever done. The previous, realistic blog post was written by Casey Hudson, main man himself.
Sure.
Yeah, and he does a little bit of a repertoire and everything, and he says, I wanted to start with a quick update on what is going on with Anthem since we last discussed it in February. He goes on to say, the Anthem incubation team is kicked off and we are starting to validate our design hypothesis. Incubation is a term we use internally. It essentially means we are going back and experimenting and prototyping to improve on the areas where we believe we fell short to leverage everything that you love currently about Anthem. Okay, so he says it's a very small team, only about 30-ish in order to be super aggressive with the prototyping. So all right, this is pretty much the entire post, okay? That there is now a small 30-man team aggressively prototyping next-gen Anthem, okay? This is scary. Do you want to know why? This
Because
literally
it sounds exactly
means
like what happened beforehand.
This literally means they've just been concepting this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since they announced that Anthem is going to be undergoing a significant overhaul, which was only technically confirmed in February. They've just been concepting the entire time.
Yeah.
So
that sounds about right.
What did they do for the year? What did they do for the year between Anthem's release and this next February? Anyway, in this last February. Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way, Taylor.
Yeah.
What did they do for about 4.5 years worth of development time?
Not much either. Okay.
They took a whole bunch of money, they opened the furnace, and they tossed it in so that they could keep the place warm.
No, they bought a very expensive shotgun.
Okay, fair enough.
No, that was EA. EA's been hunting down random BioWare people for the last year and a half.
Okay.
You go wasting our money?
Yeah. And so, okay, so it's like, you look at it like that, okay, and so it's like they're just now out of the concepting phase. They have a small dedicated team to just getting a working prototype to see how all their conceptual changes will work out and everything. And then once they figure out, excuse me. excuse me, my throat went dry. Sorry. Once they figure
Yeah, mine
out
did too.
once they figure out like, oh yes, this design iteration works, we like this concept, let's implement it and everything, then it's gonna start kicking into like full scale production again with the rest of the studio.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're still in the prototyping phase for this.
To be fair, they're pretty much making an entirely new game, so a year's worth of time in like concepting,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
unreasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I too enjoyed spending $60 on a prototype game myself of a proof of concept.
Right.
To be fair, like Anthem is like pretty much just an engine right now. Like you can do stuff in it, but none of it's really worth it right now.
It's
so
like, haha, Frostbite pretty. Haha.
True.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the story that everyone's known for some time now, but it's just now trying to figure out what's actually going to happen with this blasted game.
So, yeah.
At least they're doing the reasonable thing and making it, if they stick to it, and just making an update for the game so you don't have to buy a new version, like Overwatch, then it's not bad.
No. There is definitely like a decently PR savvy way to handle this next release of Anthem, and my money's on EA isn't going to do the PR friendly way. They're going to charge.
No.
Again.
So in my opinion, what they should actually... I'm not muted, am I?
No, you're good.
What they should actually do is keep the game basically how it is. Keep everything built already. Don't make a brand new game, but keep everything built. Completely cut out that whole like world and everything. Keep the engine, keep everything. And like just build basically something new off that.
You can just simply say anything that's not sort
basically
of
scrap everything, keep the engine, and build it from the ground up.
So keep the same world and like change the story in a way where that whole area got destroyed, and like shoot off from there and stay on the same planet or something.
Final Fantasy 14 update?
A Realm Reborn.
That.
Yeah.
So
it's like, I don't know, if we've likened, Anthem to Final Fantasy 14 quite a bit.
Or No Man's Sky.
Yeah, or No Man's... you mean, let's see, Yes Woman's Goodening, or Yes Woman's Ground, or whatever.
Yes Woman's Ground.
Yeah. It's like that Internet Story video. I love it. That's a really good video.
That's funny.
Yeah. But, yeah, so what happened with Final Fantasy is, like, Final Fantasy 14 release, absolute garbage of a game, okay? Square Enix tried to, like, update it as normal, tried to be like, no, life is deja vu for, like, 6 months, okay? And then they were like, you know what, actually, y'all are right, this isn't really working. We're gonna work on a massive overhaul and everything, but we're still gonna keep the game live. And then eventually the overhaul expanded in scope as such that it no longer became, like, cost-effective for them to keep the servers running and, keep the routine maintenance on the game in its current state going until the overhaul was ready. So they shut down the game for, like, a year, worked on the overhaul, and redeploy the overhaul. But the way that they like shut down the game was really, really cool and everything. They did like a really giant cool meteor strike and everything. They destroyed the world and everything. And then
the ending cinematic was so cool.
Yeah, and they even worked it into the new story for A Realm Reborn when it released too. So it's like, oh yeah, this meteor devastated the world like 5 years ago or whatever. It referenced in A Realm Reborn quite a bit, which is the first like story quests in Anyway, so yeah, they should do something like that. And I mean, the pre-existing lore mechanics in Anthem already exist to make that happen.
Yeah, actually do something with your mechanics than just, use it as an excuse to send enemy waves your way.
What was like the big thing that they promised, like the storms or something like that?
Yeah.
That turned out to be hot garbage.
Yeah. You mean the entire
it wasn't hot garbage, it was just a filter change.
Yeah, the filter change thing. Like you could make that like a story element to smack the reset button on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I say
like they're like terrain altering events, aren't they?
Yeah.
So get like, what are they called? The whatever those stupid stone things are, or the meteorites, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I played like half an hour of Anthem.
Big
I still
rock
have it, by the way.
goes smash.
Yeah, big rock goes smash, exactly. Have like a meteor hit the area, destroy everything, have like a storm change it, even use the same area if you want, but just fully like reskin it and like add in filler content and like elements. Like, okay, the flying mechanics of Anthem are pretty awesome, to be honest. They nailed that part. That's the only thing they nailed.
Shooting's
Isn't that
okay
the
also. Like, the overall combat loop is decent.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like,
It's
EA
decent,
can
but it
make a
could be
pretty
much
good,
better still.
like, they can make a good shooting game. That's not hard. Didn't they also like take the flying mechanics to their CEO and said, "How is this?" And they said, and he basically said, "No, I scrap this. I want something better."
Yeah.
I think it was that the flying mechanic was the only thing that kept it from completely cutting the game completely. I thought it was.
Make it first person.
Yeah.
Then you can't see your pretty mech.
Right, exactly.
I mean, okay,
so the reason... Oh, go ahead.
Why not have like third and first person modes like GTA?
That'd be a little bit much, I think. That'd be... yeah.
Give us everything!
No.
I'd rather, with this type of game, I'd just rather take third person.
So the reason why I was so kind of like surprised at like the concept time and everything is like concepts already exist for the game. Most art assets already exist and everything, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you can
The actual represented
skip a lot
game
of
is out right
pre-production
now.
stuff.
I don't think it's necessarily
Narrative?
a concept of like visuals or like story, like that type of stuff. I think it's more of like, what do we do with gameplay?
Oh, okay.
like the storms sucked. We know that the campaign sucked. What do we do now?
Okay.
And they had to like concept dungeons, concept
Change a lot.
stuff like that, and do all that. I think that's what most of the development time was so far.
Okay.
That's my estimation.
Port it to CryEngine, you cowards.
They are.
I mean, the
cowards.
game looks decent.
It does. It really does.
It's a
It
pretty
looks
game.
decent. It's pretty. It's a pretty game.
Yeah.
So yeah, like as Matt said, they're probably narrative, like concepting all that kind of stuff, and they fully
Cool,
need.
add
They've
more.
got. The thing is, they can't do anything remotely similar. That's the thing. So they need to like fully change everything, like as far as narrative and all that. So it's got to be really. Oh wow, this is really worth the wait. This is worth paying because they're gonna make you pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
This is worth
Just give it a
paying
respawn. Just-
$30. Yeah, give it a respawn. Far out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
really. If
Also,
anybody
Matt,
can make a mech-based game,
yeah, it's respawn. Also, Matt, completely off topic. I just realized how large that microphone is.
well, oh, this thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, this thing is massive, and it still sounds like garbage.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Like I ripped mine.
Yeah, like, okay, so, like, quick rundown. This is for anybody who's watching is fascinated if you're watching the video. I'm currently wearing the Sennheiser GSP 670 for review. That hopefully should be out within the next couple of days. And this mic is hot garbage for anybody who cares.
But the sound is really, really good.
Sound is
Yeah,
top notch.
sound
I mean, it's Sennheiser, I expect nonetheless, but, like, I
The-
still have to use my Audio Technica mic here to just for everything, because it's, I mean, yes, it's a wired mic. It's obviously going to be a lot better, but I was hoping for some level of competency or like be competent with this.
Put
mic.
it this way:
No.
my $30 headset has a better microphone on it than your.
Taylor's Chinese one sounds better than this, I bet.
The kunai
Both yours
or
are
whatever
Chinese.
that I reviewed.
Yeah, whatever
It
it
was
was.
actually, I don't know, it sounded decent. Also, the kunai. Like
I bet it sounded better than this piece of trash.
No, I mean like the headphones in general sounded good on the kunai. Like it wasn't
yeah,
horrible.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want a more in-depth review, stay tuned to our website, Culture of Gaming, where you can keep an eye out for that review. If you want to see a video review, stay around for a couple more weeks to check our Tech Thought affiliated channel on YouTube. You can probably see something there as well.
Wow. Okay.
I'm done with my plugs. Let's keep
Nice
going.
chill. Yeah. So I don't know. BioWare in general, right? They still need to finish the next Dragon Age, right? I imagine that's just about done, right?
Oh no!
Remember that game exists?
No.
This is like our previous conversation. They showed it off so early, and it's been what, like a year and a half since we've heard anything about
yeah, and
it.
this. Back to our previous point. Why the hell did they show it so early?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it's just
Because
like
we got to keep people's attention. We need to give them hope for the future. Even if
Yeah,
that future
but-
is like 2-3 years down the line and you're going to hear very little about it between then and now.
I completely
problem
forgot it
is-
was happening until this segment, to be honest. I was like,
I forgot it was happening.
and I
until
started
you actually
thinking about,
just said
wait,
Dragon's
what?
Quest.
Until I was like, wait, what is BioWare even working on? It's like, oh yeah,
Well, I mean,
they
if
have
BioWare
Dragon
wasn't
Age.
working on anything, EA would have taken the shotgun to them by now.
True.
The problem is, as well, is if you... We're still going on about this. If you announce stuff too early, particularly in EA's case and BioWare's case, you open up the door for a heap of scandal and a heap of like, oh no, we haven't done this. Oh no, they haven't done that. Oh, the game's gonna be crap. Don't buy it.
Right, it's like with Naughty Dog too, and we say The Last of Us 2. It's like the game's been in development hell for what, like 6 years now, since
So many
Uncharted 4
years.
came out. That you know, it's just like Last of Us 2 has been in development hell for so long that it's less about surviving an apocalypse and more about raising another person's child.
Yeah, really. You know what's like Nintendo handles this in the best fashion. Case in point,
no.
Metroid Prime 4. How many years ago did they announce it now, Taylor? at
E3
or whatever?
2017.
Yeah, 3 years ago. The only thing that we've heard since then is that Nintendo officially saying, we hate what we've done so far, we're restarting.
It's like, my god, we've created
Well,
a
more like
monster.
they
We're
said-
killing it.
That's like really the only thing that we've heard. And it
Yeah.
just came out of the blue, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess if you say it's bad, we'll respect you and keep moving on.
Yeah, whatever. I think once we get to the water cooler segment, this point will come up again. So we're gonna
Yeah.
go
I got
ahead.
some stuff to say.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Anything, Mike? Any final thoughts about Anthem outside of the usual?
No, I'm basically just gonna have to be patient until Anthem screws up again, so that you can finally invite me back onto the podcast again.
All right, awesome. But yeah, okay.
Hopefully they'll screw up again soon. I want to be back soon.
Look,
It's like BioWare, is
Chris,
working,
that's-
and BioWare is working on another Mass Effect too. So anyway,
which is
yeah.
news
Yeah.
to me. I thought they would have given up on Mass Effect after Andromeda. Straight up, I thought that just shot it dead in the water.
Well, they have to keep it going somehow, but honestly, it does seem like, had Respawn not stepped in last year, EA would be considered one of the most hated companies right now, honestly.
definitely
EA
not.
was voted worst company in the world like 2 years in a row. And
So was
back
Bank of
in-
Yeah,
America.
but that's people who don't
Yeah, I
even
know,
forget
but
that
that's
Konami exists.
Yeah.
Bank of America.
All right. Anyway, so
Not
moving
Americans.
right
Okay,
along.
shots fired, Taylor.
Yeah, moving right along. Our next news story comes to us from cultureofgaming.com. This was written by Oscar Navarro, one of our news writers. He says, Evo 2020 cuts Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from lineup, which I'm surprised they
That's
didn't
a
do
pretty
this
good
years
recap.
earlier because Smash Bros. Isn't a real fighting game anyway.
It is a real fighting game, and you just can't admit it.
Due to the limitations caused by the current
Like
COVID...
how you can't admit that StarCraft's a dying esport.
Due to the limitations caused by the current COVID-19 pandemic, EVO 2020 has replaced its annual
love it.
live competitive event with one conducted completely online. We've covered this the past couple weeks on the Power Up podcast. Not only that, but it seems that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will not be featured among the roster of fighting games played at the online EVO tourney. The event will take place July 4th to August 2nd and will consist of 4 open online tournaments featuring some of the most popular fighting games around. With that said, EVO recently posted a video revealing its lineup for the competition, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is nowhere to be found, letting credence to the fact that it is not actually a fighting game.
No, it just has
No.
some of the
Taylor,
worst.
you just spot. Why was I going to say that?
You
just
you-
hating.
The Super Smash
Hey.
Bros. series has always been a part of EVO for quite
Okay.
some time, so Ultimate's removal does seem unprecedented. However, many believe that the decision stems from the game's poor online performance resulting from a lackluster netcode. As of now, organizers have not acknowledged the cut, so a possible announcement regarding this choice could arise soon.
Please, everyone, if you have played Smash Brothers online, Smash Brothers Ultimate online for
so
even like
garbage.
1 minute,
Bad.
you will immediately know that if you go ahead and compare it to the rest of the lineup in the game, Smash Ultimate has the worst netcode by far. Not even, there's no competition in it.
It's not even close.
And I love how Nintendo tried to mitigate that fact by making everyone who wanted to compete for a rank on Smash Bros. Online buy the USB to Ethernet adapter for the Switch and use a wired connection.
I
As
mean,
if
it's
to go
not
ahead
the
and hammer
connection.
point
It's just the
home.
netcode is garbage.
I know. I said it's like I love how Nintendo tried to mitigate it, compensate
cover
it.
it up.
Yeah.
Back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Cover it up.
It's a good fighting
Yeah.
game. You just won't admit it, Taylor.
Yeah, the fact is that it's not that it's a bad fighting game. It's a horrific online experience.
I know. I'm
in which that
primarily
not even
joking.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's one where it's like not even people who go ahead and play professionally would want their worst enemies to have to suffer through it because they can't even tolerate it
If I was
themselves.
playing a
Why don't they
game
just-
professionally, especially a fighting game, I wouldn't want a tournament to be held online, like, at all. That's
No
the thing.
way.
That's
Yeah.
kind of, it's like, that's horrible in, like, FPS games already, let alone fighting games where things are literally, like, frame-by-frame inputs sometimes. And it's just like, I pitched this idea to Andrew, is just like, okay, so what are you going to do with the ping between players? Because they're not going to, like, region restrict people, so you're not only going to have, like, Japanese people fighting Japanese players or whatever, right? It's like you're going to have some guy in NA fighting against that one, like, insane kid in Japan who's really good at Street Fighter or whatever. That's going to be, like, a best-case scenario 100 millisecond ping between them, which is killer.
That's 10th of a second, which
yeah.
is 6 frames, which is deadly.
Which is a death
Yeah.
I mean,
sentence
okay,
in any
even
remotely
like-
competitive game. Like,
Even like West Coast to East Coast is bad enough.
It's
Yeah.
like 80
Like,
across
Particularly
the
with
US.
Warzone and like FPSs and stuff. That's bad.
That's why
So-
me and Taylor hate playing on the Chicago servers of CSGO.
yeah.
It's so true. We limit our ping to 45, so we almost get guaranteed the East or the West Coast servers every time.
So, and
Yeah,
that's the
but-
thing. Like when I connect to like a league game, my ping
220.
is 232.
Yeah, it's just Riot
230.
only has one data center in North America, and it's in Chicago.
That's the same with Battlefield though, and it's the same with Modern Warfare as well. Like you can't, and like Japan is on the same, like they're based on the same time zone, and they've got. I mean, yes, they've got better internet services than us.
To be fair, Battlefield's code is pretty good.
Yeah.
Where the
They
hell do
make
you
up for it.
connect? Like, unless you go midway.
When we play, we usually try and do West Coast servers, so it's not as bad for you.
I'm like with Evo. Like if you've got someone in
Oh.
Japan
Yeah.
going to
I
America,
guess you
like,
try to
where
find
do
the
you connect?
best
I mean,
middle
they're gonna have to
ground.
figure that one out because
They need to set up like a server in like Guam or something to host it. To host that.
But here's the other thing because
Don't
I'm
know,
sure this
yeah.
was discussed last week too. But yeah, if you really think about it, for all the games that are on the Evo lineup, if I recall correctly, wasn't Killer Instinct and Skullgirls a part of the online Evo lineup?
I don't think that's been
If-
formally announced. I don't
Actually,
think
if
those
you
two-
check out our article, there is a list of good fighting games.
Yeah.
So check that out.
So,
Ooh,
the
nice.
currently announced games to feature at Evo 2020 are as follows: Skullgirls,
shelf.
Encore, and Killer Instinct. That's in the list.
Okay, yeah, because
You
here's
like
the
my
thing,
plugs today,
because
Anthony?
we are
And not
and we're in a time to
Come
where all the people who go ahead
I'm
to
trying.
make all the companies who have their fighting games right now,
Yeah.
it seems like a good majority of them do not know how to do the online play properly. There's a reason why that Street Fighter 5 still gets dumped on. I guess we will use that term.
Sure.
Why they get dumped on in terms of their online play, and how a lot of people were pissed off that Capcom decided to patch out the fix when a fan tried to go ahead and do it for them, because it seems like as we move into the next generation, it does seem like these companies need to actually be looking at their online netcode actually a little bit more seriously than they should be, because if you have the American-based fighting games like Killer Instinct and Skullgirls actually being considered for an online gaming tournament, and those games are considered to be some of the best online fighting games out there. May not be the best, but if we had to make a top 10 list, they would definitely be 1 and 2. And kind of in hopes that if anything else, this could serve as a wake-up call, because, or at least for those who matter, because obviously Nintendo's not going to give a second thought to fixing their online thing.
Yeah.
What they need to do is pretty much what Valve does, and just if people manage to fix something, they'll pay them.
Yeah.
It's like, you fix that, cool. Here's like a couple
Street
$1,000.
Fighter paying people to fix their issues? Ha! That's hilarious.
That's what CS:GO has done for the longest time. There was some
Yeah, but
issues
that's
and people are
CS:GO.
like,
We're not talking about fighting games here, though.
no, but it's
or
a high
fighting game people
competition
fixing
game
games.
where milliseconds matter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I'm saying that it would be nice if they allowed the fan base to help them improve stuff. But, unfortunately, with what we saw with Street Fighter 5 a couple of months back, that's not the case. That they would rather try to fix it themselves and either make the situation worse or at least make it on par, to which it's like, well, I mean, it's better than nothing, but we would still want something better, please.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Nintendo, like, I don't know if this is possible or not, but I guess it's still a inbuilt netcode, isn't it? So you can't fix that. I mean, you could fix the netcode, but then you'd still need like decent servers and stuff.
Yeah, to be fair, this is their first real like outside of
Their
what was
first
it, like
actual
ARMS?
attempt.
Yeah, this is
to
like
do
their
an
first
online
attempt
stuff.
at an online game outside of ARMS, which was another fighting game, but it wasn't as
I mean, there's Splatoon
intense.
2, or Splatoon and Splatoon 2.
That's true. That's true. I forgot about Splatoon. Yeah, but
But
no,
yeah, no,
from what
Nintendo's
I've never
starting to
heard
take it
people
seriously,
complaining
but
about those
not
games.
as much as others.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's just.
And you
Right
think
back.
with the amount of damn good programmers they have over there, they would be able to figure something out.
You'd think, or like, why don't they just like I don't know, like hit up Valve and just be like, hey, write us a netcode.
Because Valve's not
pay
going to
you.
do it.
10
Well, I
billion.
mean, a funny thing about that, because not to promote other content, but Maximilian is always a good watch. Because for Maximilian Miles 923 on YouTube, he actually did make a video about why some companies are struggling so much with netcode, or why it seems like they can't do something as simple as outreach. But going off the top of my head here, off memorization, it's like you're asking a Japanese company to reach out to American companies to figure out how to do something in this circumstance. It's like, yeah, it would be nice, but one part there's kind of a cultural gap and a language barrier, but another part where it's like, they're still going to want to try to do it their way, and unfortunately, their way is still kind of not exactly working out as they should be
And it's
for the
not only
benefit
that,
to all, I should say.
plus, like, once you have like a good netcode, you don't want really anybody to have that netcode, because that's what brings your game above everybody else's. Because I know with every single game that tries to compete against CS:GO, I guarantee you one of the top bulleted points is like great netcode.
Sure.
I guarantee you, because that's what like everybody tries to do, is try to perfect their netcode, and they don't want to share with anybody else, because it's what makes them the hottest thing on the market. You can look at Valorant. That's or Valorant, or whatever they call it.
Valorant.
Great example is they claim they have some of the best netcode, 128 tick servers, better hitboxes, stuff like that.
I mean, Riot Games could kind of
good.
afford to go up and beyond in that standpoint, honestly. Gotta go
I mean,
ahead and satisfy the Chinese overlords.
All you gotta do is look at League as well. Like, League is that's not good. The amount of lag you get in that game, and the amount of like.
You played 230.
I think that's just
No.
I think
no,
that's
it's not just me. It's not just me.
I
It's
know.
other people that I've watched play League and whatever, who are like not necessarily streamers, but like YouTubers and whatever.
Sure.
Lag is a pretty common thing in League.
Yeah.
It seems. So.
If only it was LAN. Am I right, Taylor?
Exactly. Take a shot. So the fun CS:GO drinking game is take a shot for every shot you would have hit if it was on LAN. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds
It's a
like
good way to get wasted really quick.
I mean,
on offer.
This is like my issue alone, but like, I think it's because of the ping that I'm running out when I play League. But like, I like mash my E, which is like Leona's grapple ability, which is one of the support characters.
Yeah.
You mash E and it doesn't work, and it doesn't work, and it doesn't work, and then bang, oh, it decides to work because there's like
You have to
I'm running on 228 ping, so it's pretty funny. There's like a pretty large delay when trying to use abilities. Pretty funny.
Okay. I also think
You
a lot
like,
of
plan it out ahead.
Yeah. You have
Yeah,
to like
exactly.
do
It's
ultra
like-
prediction. Yeah.
When I get to this point, mash E, it'll happen 2 seconds later. Okay, go.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's what you do in tie-dye fights and in Eve.
Yeah.
You push it, it's gonna happen 10 minutes later. Just give it some time.
Don't take a shower and your doomsday will be off in cooldown.
Accurate.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I think if the alternative is playing fighting games online, Evo should just cancel 2020 event. So anyway,
They should do what Valve is for CS. Valve's really good right now. I can't explain it. And straight up cancel it and double the tourney prize for next year.
Yep.
Or next time. That's what Valve did, and then we're gonna have a $2 million CS:GO major, which is gonna be straight fire.
Yeah.
Speaking
Okay.
of fire, who won the G2 phase game?
I don't know. I didn't even look. Okay. So our next bit of news is, well, I didn't really want to talk about it because I am like beyond the point of caring about this, and but going to get crucified if I don't cover it. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake announced. Wow, I don't care.
Basically,
I only played 3 and 4, so.
Wait, does anyone care?
No,
I don't.
Okay.
I have the
it got
N64
announced.
version that I find fun to play, but that's about it.
Okay, you see, it's not stage 4, so I don't care.
It
Anyway.
doesn't have
Rainbow
the,
Six-
what is it called?
What?
The Hall of Meat.
Yeah, the Hall of Meat.
That game mode is so much fun.
Where you just like wipe out and try and abuse your character as much as possible. It's great.
Some of the stuff you can do is pretty impressive.
Yeah. All right, so
And it's also made by Activision, so moving on.
yeah, so just moving on to the next story. Ubisoft sues Apple and Google over alleged Rainbow Six Siege copycat. This was
damn it.
hot off the presses. This happened earlier today on May 16th, and this article is coming to us from GameSpot and is written by Gabe Gerwin over there. Rainbow Six Siege is one of the most popular multiplayer games on the planet, so it comes as little surprise that it has its share of imitators. One such imitator, however, is doing more than that in the eyes of Ubisoft. Ubisoft has filed a lawsuit against both Google and Apple for selling a game on their respective app stores Ubisoft says is a direct ripoff of Rainbow Six Siege. As reported by Bloomberg, Ubisoft's lawsuit against Google and Apple concerns the game Area F2, a multiplayer shooter created by, guess the nationality, Chinese mega corporation Alibaba, and its website eJoy. According to Ubisoft's suit, the game allegedly copies Rainbow Six Siege's user interface, including its final store screen and operator selection screen. Area F2 is available in the United States on mobile devices and is currently in a free period, while Rainbow Six Siege is only on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Oh my god.
Yeah, prior to filing the lawsuit, Ubisoft said it had told Apple and Google that the game infringed on its copyrights and the games were not taken down from the app stores. The lawsuit was filed in LA, and neither Google or Apple have commented on it yet. Google and Apple are both also based in California. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I literally just looked up this game. It's called Area F2, and literally not even 1 second in, I just saw it right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, that is not even trying to hide.
This is the article which has some screenshots from Area F2, and wow, that's just like, it's almost
That's
indiscernible.
Not even an attempt
It's
to-
almost
That's-
indiscernible.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is wow. So is this on Stadia?
No, this is on like the App Store
iOS
and
and
Google Play.
Android.
Oh, so it's a mobile game.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, okay.
No,
you
but
can
it's
die.
another situation where it's like, you know, the Chinese companies basically taking what's not released in the U.S. or whatever, and it's like, all right, well, they're not going to release it, so we'll do it.
Surprise.
Wow. This is.
Wow, that is so bad.
Y'all remember Diablo Immortal, which is literally like a reskin of another mobile game?
Actually, I'm still trying to remember
Wait, did
whatever happened to the
Immortal
game,
actually
honestly.
release?
They did in China, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never
So
bothered to, never cared for it.
yeah, this is
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
It even has drones.
Okay, anyway, getting back on topic here, because obviously we just spent like a good
so
minute or two
confused.
being like, oh my god, but
Right.
yeah, honestly, it kind of makes me
Jesus, this
wonder
is fire.
in terms of like, you know, if Apple or, you know, the people involved in this nonsense need to start setting up a, you know, quality of, you know, someone to check quality or check copyright or something like that. Because it's like, you know, not that long ago, I'm pretty sure that Valve ran into this exact same problem with their Valve store and
oh my goodness.
and you know, technically I
They
can't
have
imagine that.
Monty.
Well, I mean, I can because technically there's so much nonsense on the Valve store that kind of gets, I mean, that kind of overshadows the good stuff.
I don't know
But
who that is. That's
I'm,
like,
you know, should Apple try to set up something to
That's
try to kind of prevent stuff like this from happening, or at least, you know, set up a quality control or something?
Okay, to be fair, Apple has much better moderation of their App Store than the Google Google does of the Google Play Store. With in the case of Google, actually, this happened earlier today too. There's this really popular podcast app on the Play Store called Podcast Addict. and that got automatically taken down by Google's bot moderator of the Google Play Store because it detected that the Pocket Cast app had unquote unverifiable information related to COVID-19 because, you know, you get like podcasts that are talking about the virus and everything in it that show up in the app. And so the bot auto-flagged Podcast Addict and took it down from the store because of...
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Remember where we weren't allowed to mention COVID-19 or else YouTube just like flags you immediately?
Yeah.
You could be talking about that?
Yeah.
God. So glad we could actually be a bit more open about it now.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know we were prevented from saying that. Noted.
We were at some point. I mean, you weren't on the podcast
previously when all this started up, that was kind of the case. But now they loosened it up because clearly this world pandemic is something you probably want to be able to not talk about, considering how it affects literally everyone in the world.
Right.
I want to say something, but I probably shouldn't say it.
Please don't. Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, Ubisoft in their statement said virtually every aspect of AF2 is copied from Rainbow Six Siege, from the operator selection screen to the final scoring screen, and everything in between. And looking at the screenshots of AF2, this is pretty obvious.
Open and shut as it gets.
Yeah, really, this is...
I was straight up going through images of the operators. I see Sledge, I see Ash, well, like, not the character models, but
I mean, just look at the picture that I shared with
the design, like the design, yeah.
Yeah, like straight up, I see like ripoffs of Sledge, Ash, Glaz, Monty, Rook, Twitch. I think that's Thermite, Smoke, Capcan, Jaeger, Bandit, like pretty much all the core operators.
This is like identical. This should wow.
This is incredibly egregious. Neither Apple nor Google have commented yet, and they have refused to remove the game from Google Play and Apple App Stores as of right now.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. Even
so
the
Can
I say one thing quickly?
I just want to make a clarification on Taylor's statement real quick.
Yeah.
They have not refused. They just haven't quoted whether or not they've taken it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got to understand as well, they are in California, so I'm sure they've still got a legal team and whatever. But because of the whole lockdowns and stuff, they probably haven't had a chance to do it. But like the whole timer, unloading screen, and everything are identical, like the same font.
It's hilariously bad. It's
that's
hilariously
so bad.
blatant. It is.
That is so bad. How can they do that?
Well,
that's simple. They go ahead and just do it because no one else does.
Honestly, I'd expect nothing less from Google. Good job, Google.
Yeah, fair enough.
I love you so much.
Remember when we made jokes about the Stadia? Oh wait, we still do. Never mind.
Yeah, we still
Like
do.
I was about to say, you stopped. I keep going.
Yeah, really. Who stopped?
Wait, has Stadia had any game come out recently?
No.
We're still waiting on Orcs Must Die 3. That's, I think, the only exclusive that's upcoming, so to speak.
I've stopped caring about Stadia, to be honest.
But look, you got to care for the memes, okay?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
All right. So that'll about wrap up the news segment. So we're going to do a quick ad break, and then we'll be back in about 30 seconds.
This week's episode of the Power Up Podcast is brought to you by OptiNutra. OptiNutra offers nootropic-type supplements that help support enhanced sleep, vision, flexibility, energy, long-range health, and so much more. You can check out their full range of supplements using the link in this episode's description.
All right, and we are back, everyone. We are still laughing hilariously about, the blatant ripoff. Yeah. Oh, China.
What China?
You're
Anthony,
the cause
you're
of
muted.
literally everything in the world, apparently.
I know I'm muted. I'm talking to someone else.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, so anyway, the next segment is, of course, the water cooler conversation. And this is quite a packed conversation if we end up going through every single topic in here. So anyway, this is the topic where it's more of like a free discussion and everything, just things that have been discussed around the site, whether it was in our staff Slack or, kind of in our community Discord and everything, maybe loosely based on some articles that have gone up on the site. that fall in the more like editorial analysis piece. Anyway, the first topic up for today, Unreal Engine 5 got announced, showcased earlier this week. It looks pretty insane.
It's straight up
very nice.
Yeah.
So
Matt, you wrote an entire article about how insane it is.
Yes, I did. Yeah, it's like 4
Matt, you actually did something.
Wow. So they recently Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite, surprisingly enough, make other things. One of those is Unreal Engine. And recently, in a demo, they showed off Unreal Engine 5, their latest iteration of the engine, running quote-unquote real-time on a PS5.
Yes.
And straight up for a console, this is what I expect from a next generation. This thing looks impressive.
Yeah.
This really does.
Yeah. And one of my favorite parts is if it looks this good on PS5, just imagine it on an actual PC.
Yeah, honestly, that was kind of what I was getting a few good chuckles at too, because people were like, "Oh, this, inside Xbox, where was the gameplay?" And then it's like, "Oh, Sony did so much better from just this tech demo." It's like, okay, one, the Unreal Engine 5 is not a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Two,
No,
you're seriously trying to say that a console is better than a PC. So yeah, have fun with that argument. And three, it's not like that. And if we're really going to be saying, the Unreal Engine showed on a PlayStation 5, then yeah, I want to see what it looks like on a PC and an Xbox Series X, and actually make a comparison to see if there's actually differences, so to speak.
Oh, I could tell you.
Or if it's going to be that, if it's going to be, well, you know what I mean by differences. That it's not like that.
Gotcha.
The PlayStation 5 is going to be like the go-to if you want to enjoy your Unreal Engine 5
sure.
game.
That makes sense.
The only reason I assume they did on a PlayStation 5 is because PlayStation's been hot this current generation, so they're showing on what's currently hot.
So I'm going to kick up this topic from later down in the list up to here because it's related. So Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games and everything, who, of course, developed the engine and everything. And, he's actually quite technically skilled as well, as far as
He's a damn good programmer.
Yeah, as far as programming is concerned. He went on after the tech demo. He went on to say on Twitter, the Unreal Engine 5 demo on PS5 was the culmination of years of discussions between Sony and Epic on future graphics and storage architectures. The Nanite and Lumen tech powering it will be fully supported on both PS5 and Xbox Series X. It'll be awesome on both. And he also says, and high-end PCs, and with features for scaling the content down to run on current gen platforms using traditional rendering and lighting techniques. The Commodore 64 will not be supported.
Hell forbid if you was able to make that work.
Yeah, right. So
I want to play ET on the Unreal Engine 5. Dang it.
And in one of the design documents detailing features of Unreal Engine 5, there was a typo that he corrected as well. He says, Epic Games wishes to issue a slight correction. Unreal Engine does not support, quote, volumetric dog. The statement was made in error. That's supposed to, of course, to read volumetric dog.
Sweeney, we want our volumetric dogs.
Look, I want dogs, okay?
Wait, they said it does or does not support.
It says it does not actually support volumetric dog.
But it does.
It does support volumetric font, though. But if you wanted to support a volumetric dog, it does not support that.
Dang it.
Damn.
And then last little bit about this is Tom Warren, who's a senior tech editor over at The Verge, asked why PS5 and not a PC.
Nasty.
Was it due to SSD performance? Hey, this is pissing me off. The SSD in a PS5 is not like a godsend coming of Jesus, okay? It's a very mediocre, PCIe SSD, okay?
Look,
Stop.
Tyler, just acknowledge the Messiah is here.
Stop, okay? The SSD on a PS5 is nothing special, okay? And Tim Sweeney said, systems integration and whole system performance, bringing in data from high bandwidth storage into video memory in its native format with hardware decompression is very efficient. That one's somewhat true because, the architectures are on like game consoles are modified than that of a normal PC to, reduce latency between components and everything like that. The reason why you don't have that in PCs is because it still needs to function as a normal PC also, as well as a gaming device. So anyway, yeah.
So to kind of roughly explain the two big improvements is Nanite and Lumen. Nanite is basically a new compression system for models, assets, and stuff like that, terrain, all the above. And the big thing is you can just straight up drop stuff from like... Oh, bye, Anthony. You could just straight
Yeah,
up
he'll be
drop
back.
stuff from
I'm
like
still here, you know.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You could still like drop stuff from like cinematic level stuff. Like you know those amazing WoW trailers?
Yeah.
You could just drop that in engine, and the compression algorithms will just take care of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was
so
like the
it's
number? It's like
the-
20 million to 5 million or whatever.
So the numbers was if you take a or look at the article that I wrote, which I dropped that in the comments plugs. There's one particular
Look
image
at
that I showed was a half and half of the pixels or the triangles versus what it actually looks like.
Yeah.
They compressed in that image 1 billion triangles down to 20 million. And that
Yeah,
they
okay.
didn't and they
I have
didn't
no clue
have
what
the
that
stuff. It's just super good at compression that practically makes some triangles the size of a pixel.
Sure.
And the one of the cool things about this is like you don't have to create multiple assets or level of detail assets for games. You could just drop one thing in there, and the compression system will just take care of it.
Which
That
is
saves
super
so much
duper
time.
convenient to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it saves so much time in game development. It's insane because you have to go back 5 to 7 times, depending on the level of detail you want to make for a particular asset, and have to deal with it. You just make a nice looking one, drop it in. Like they quoted one particular statue had like some insane amount of like it was used in cinematics, and they just dropped it in, and it works. The other thing is, with that, the lighting elements has to be like pixel perfect as well. With nanite, you get like pixel accurate shadows with dynamic lighting and lumen. The lumen is the introduction of their multi-global illumination. Basically about as real life as you can get in a game engine, where it's basically like ray tracing. I would say.
Sure. Okay.
But it
uses a form of ray tracing.
Yeah, it uses a form of ray tracing to allow lights like bouncing off different objects or making amazing looking god rays. But it allows that technology to exist within the engine now, which is top tier.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It looks insane. It really
looks,
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks.
No, my
super
favorite
nice.
part from the whole tech demo was like what was just being mentioned for the lighting, because it's like, you can set up all the assets, but then as soon as you saw the lighting where it's like, you have the same area, but you could go ahead and simulate, like, it's the morning, it's the day, it's the night, and it's like,
Yeah, like
oh wow, look at how everything just rolls with it. That's just beautiful.
Yeah, like one of the big things, if you played ray tracing on like, I think it was Battlefield 5, like if you go to the ocean, you could tell like there was some artifacting there, like it just couldn't render the stuff in fast enough time. But with this, he moves around the sun in real time, and it works.
Yeah.
It works. Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see some amazing day and night cycles with that. It looks.
Yeah,
so
I thought this.
Sorry.
I thought this was actually being shown on PC for a bit. And it looks so good. And when you wrote the article, Matt, I checked out the
video,
like the demo of it very quickly afterwards, and it looked fantastic. I thought it was like. It'd be cool if it was actually a game that they were developing and they were just showing a chunk of it, because that game looks cool.
That does look cool.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking them to go ahead and just make the game. Stop calling it a tech demo, but
right, yeah, really. This is what next gen is supposed to be. Like there is supposed to be a huge technological leap, and I love how it's coinciding perfectly with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and all that. Because this is it's gonna be the definition of next generation. It's gonna be the new standard we look back at for when we compare things for next generation.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's really good that they've shown this on PS5, and it may look better on Series X, but it's good that they're showing us what exactly next gen will look like using this certain engine. Yeah. Which is, there's been a couple of statements and stuff released by Microsoft that are next gen gap isn't going to be too much different. You're not really going to be able to tell the difference, blah, blah, blah. But if you've got a new engine like this is something to be excited about. Because next gen, to be honest, I'm not too keen for it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, I guess the other thing also is that, I forgot how many companies actually do use the Unreal Engine. But it does seem like, a lot of people are definitely going to be, as soon as this gets launched out into the wild for everyone to go ahead and start choosing. Can't imagine what everyone else will be able to do with it. But if anything else, it's nice to know that all that Fortnite money has gone to a good cause.
Yeah, really.
That's kind of a good segue into kind of more the business strategy element of UE5 and everything, because obviously this is a big enterprise asset that companies can license out from Epic Games and everything, and they've given a really, really friendly royalty structure and licensing structure for Unreal Engine 5. So they're definitely trying to encourage the use of UE5 as much as possible for developers and everything. And, this is something I don't want to quite say it's affordable and everything, because we're still because we're still kind of like talking in the millions of dollars and everything, but so it's like it's like smaller developers. UE5 is becoming possibly more of a real, like, I don't want to say realistic choice, but it's definitely within the realm of possibilities for smaller developers as opposed to like Unity or whatever.
Yeah.
So
and this is kind of where, like, things, to roughly break it down real quick, they're changing their system from a quarterly system of, hey, once you pass the gross $3,000 mark for your game that quarter, we start taking our royalties out of it. They changed it up so now that it's just a flat, once you pass $1 million in gross revenue, we start taking our royalties. Yeah. Super friendly for smaller developers. And that also, like, and I bet there will be some other stuff as well, since they have the Epic Games Store now, that they'll probably get more incentives to publish on the Epic Games Store, which is, fair. Don't mind that.
Yeah.
I just hope, like I said at the end of the article, I just hope they can bring their service up to spec with their game store and make it more friendly. Right. I think Epic is actually starting to get to the point now where they're starting to compete a little bit with Valve. When they released it initially, no way. But I think they're starting to get somewhere.
Yeah, no, the Epic Game Store, that got rushed out, clearly. Who launches their store without a cart, right?
Still doesn't have a cart.
I'll still roast it day in and out, but
yeah. And that's the thing. Like, so Epic has been really good as far as, like, supporting developers and pushing out new, not necessarily new features for their store at all, but like they've been good on the monetary side of things, which is great to see. They're supporting indies
as much hell as we give Epic Games for like Fortnite and the initial release of the Epic Games Store, they're a really cool gaming company.
There's some serious talent even on the Fortnite team and everything. It's like, just because I don't personally like the game Fortnite and everything doesn't mean that it's like, oh, Epic is bad or whatever. It's like,
like, we'll roast it in and out, but like that's just because we find it funny to roast it and we don't like the game. But that's one person's opinion.
We make fun of Epic Games because we love them, essentially.
Or we respect them. We roast them because we respect them.
Exactly. We roast them because we respect them and we want them to grow.
And, so it's like, we've been talking a little bit about how, Epic likes to make deals with the developers, like, oh, exclusivity on our platform or whatever, right? I can imagine, Epic could say, like, oh, here's a further, like, royalty discount for using UE5 as long as you make your UE5 game only on the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
I'd imagine they'd be more than willing to do that.
Just for comparisons of numbers, the royalties for every game sold on Valve is Valve takes 15% of that, of the gross income of it. If I remember correctly. Yeah. Point still stands.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing that they were saying about the game store.
Yeah, with Epic Game Store, they only take 12%, which is a significant chunk less. That's what, a 20% difference if it's 15%, and compared to Valve. And if they say, hey, we'll drop it to 10% if you use our engine, because they're going to make royalties off the engine as well, but they'll give them a discount anyways. It's just a nice one-in-one service.
Yeah, so Valve's cut on Steam for games and everything is this was changed in 2018 when Epic Games the store came out, by the way. Valve's current policy is for all sales between 10 million and 50 million, the split goes to 25%, and for every sale after the initial 50 million, Steam will take 20%. And then below 10 million, Valve takes 30%.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that aggressive at 30%.
Yeah.
Yeah, Valve absolutely cuts. Like, they take out a massive chunk. And I'm actually kind of surprised that they haven't lowered that, to be honest. Because
they take a chunk out of every sale, whether it's games or even items on their stores. They take a significant chunk out of items on the store.
I realize that, but maybe even if they come up with a new format for indie games specifically, because not all developers can afford this kind of stuff.
Right.
So like, it'd be cool if we saw. We've spoken about this multiple times on the podcast too, by the way. But it'd be cool if we saw, Valve come up with a kind of planned thing specifically for indies. Like AAA stuff can do it, no worries at all. But indies can't, and that's why a lot of indie games go to Epic now, because Epic only takes like 12% or something, don't they?
12%. Yeah.
12%. There you go.
And it's just a flat 12% too.
Yeah.
Flat 12, yeah. So that's, I don't know. It'd be nice if we saw Valve kind of get with the times a little bit.
It's a lot more friendly in that regards, and I think they made it. What was it? The Greenlight or whatever it was called.
Steam Greenlight, yeah.
Steam Greenlight. That was a big step in helping independent developers, because it allowed them to test their game before an official release and just kind of run with it to get some feedback. And obviously, it wasn't used for that purpose all the time, but the idea of release it in like a beta sort of way, get some info back, and develop the game from there, and then fully release it. If Epic can do something like that in comparison, that'd be a nice step forward.
Yeah. That'd be nice if I did that.
All right. So
yeah.
Yeah, UE5. Looks good. Can't wait to see it implemented into an actual game.
That was
and like
news from this week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Sorry, I thought it might have been from early last week or Sunday or something.
Oh no, it was like the
Tuesday or so, Wednesday.
Yeah, it was within the same time that I roughly released it, because I think it was released the same morning that I wrote it.
Okay.
Okay, sure. So that was like
it was within the past
Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm still completely shocked you actually did something, Matt, to be honest.
I honestly saw nobody write about it and said, I'm just gonna do it. I was
waiting for I haven't fired you, did? No.
Be the change you want to see in the world. Okay.
Exactly. That's what I did there.
All right.
And
so
I thought I wrote a pretty good article.
All right. So outside of UE5 and everything, which Daniel checked out the article detailing it on culturegaming.com. This happened on Thursday. We got a about 20-minute look at Ghost of Tsushima.
I have not seen that at all.
If you've been listening, if you've been listening to my opinion a little bit on the podcast about the game and everything, you'll know that I've been pretty excited for this game for quite a while and everything. I thought it looked pretty cool. If I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys, after watching the 20 minutes, my excitement has abated quite a bit, and it's now like an iffy buy for me, if I'm being perfectly honest. So, a couple of reasons why. We previously mentioned we first saw this game back at E3 2018, and it looked spectacular and everything. Of what we saw on Thursday, there is a definite downgrade. Anthony, you're muted again.
Yeah, I keep getting muted for some reason. I don't know why. I think my cable keeps on doing what?
Just don't. I hear you pressing the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I unplug the cable, it automatically mutes the mic when I plug it back in, so I've got to unmute it.
Okay. Why do you just routinely unplug the cable?
I need to get a new cable.
Oh, okay.
It keeps slipping out because when you move it,
for the love of God, get some black tape.
No.
Okay, fine.
Get some tape. Okay, anyway.
I'm just gonna torture you with this.
Yeah. Okay, anyway.
Until I get like an XLR mic.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying. Yeah, it's been graphically downgraded quite a bit from what we saw at E3. They do kind of like this half-assed cel-shaded style, kind of like Breath of the Wild, but the problem is, unlike Breath of the Wild, they don't fully commit to it, and they kind of try and blend like this photorealism with like the cel-shaded style, and it just doesn't work. I will give it credit, the colors are fairly vivid, like in certain scenes and everything, so that's good. The lighting is super exaggerated, which gives a certain nice kind of like surreal stylistic choice to it and everything. But I don't know, it's like, I hope maybe they can polish it up in the next 2 months or so before it releases, because I noticed when like riding and everything, like the guy's riding the horse, his cape was clipping through his sword quite a bit.
Was so funny.
The scene where his armor and whatnot is where like he's all armored up and he goes to attack the Mongolian camp. His shoulder armor is clipping through his helmet very noticeably. And so it's like there's lots of little details like that. It kind of pissed me off because the first guy doesn't know how to pronounce Tsushima correctly. And I was also hoping...
Tsushima? Tsushima?
He was the first guy on like narrating the video was like Tsushima, and it's like no, and it's like no, absolutely not. And I thought, it's like this game was going to be like a little bit more historically well researched and everything, because this isn't really a landscape you go to. It's like the Mongolians never really even invaded mainland Japan. The furthest they got was literally Tsushima Island. Where the game takes place and everything, because there's the whole like divine storm that came by and blew away the Mongolian ships, etc., as the story goes. And so it's just like when dealing with the samurai, pertaining to the samurai and everything, and this is also what I hate too. It's like they present like two different play styles. So they have the like assault sort of thing, the more direct combat, and then the more stealth combat and everything too. It's like they're going to like somehow morally or spiritually penalize you for going stealth or whatever, because it's supposed to fit in with this whole like honor vibe that every samurai has to have or whatever. When it's like the actual historical correspondence for a samurai does not at all match that at all. Like, samurai were sneaky little shits willing to do anything to get one over on one another. So
okay, can you guys stop cussing, because I'm not editing this. Taylor, you can edit this episode. All yours.
Fine.
Bye.
Okay.
Oh, does that mean I can start cursing now?
No.
No.
And so yeah. And so anyway, it's like, I don't know, the game didn't come off as very well researched, but there are some decent concepts to it also. Like, I like kind of how they have like the wind guiding you. That's a cool thing. Kind of like the birds guiding you, the foxes guiding you. That's all fine and good. But
like the wind mechanic though could be kind of confusing.
Yeah, the UI and aesthetic is pretty okay.
When that got shown initially, I was like, which way is the wind blowing?
Okay.
It's like, oh, it looks like it's down that cliff. Go and jump off
I guess
a cliff.
that's an ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping for something more photorealistic. I'm looking at this now. It's
That's what I originally thought it would be. The distant object detail isn't incredible, and it seems like lighting isn't applied to it fairly either. So it's like you get these like, I remember it's like
they
just
don't
the
have
boats in the distance were really, yeah.
It's like they don't have enough stops with the camera.
No.
If anybody understands anything about photography.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully maybe they'll. You're muted again, Anthony. If you try to say something.
No, I was just going on to say about the whole like wind mechanic and all. But that's okay. I said what I said, so it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
The ocean looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
From the video that I'm watching right now.
It looks kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Not well, it's probably unoptimized because it's like early footage, but like part of it doesn't look rendered, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would describe it as.
Yeah, so it looks very... When's this supposed to come out?
July.
Oh, good lord. Okay.
Yeah.
So technically they're doing marketing and stuff for it already.
Oh,
wow.
Well, I mean, better like do it 2 months in advance instead of like, slowly building it up like certain other games, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, true. But like, technically it should be going gold almost.
Well,
yeah. No, this should be about done. It should
be right around the corner, honestly.
It should be about done.
So going gold, like for those who don't know, going gold is like when it's being put on disc,
the disc
basically.
And everything. Yeah, the game is like essentially complete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's yeah.
This doesn't look good.
The combat I wasn't super thrilled with. It seemed like it didn't seem different enough from Sekiro, to be honest.
It looks like a rip-off of Sekiro, kind of.
To be fair, I wasn't expecting anything too different in that regards.
Okay.
I mean, dude swings sword, cuts guy in half. What else can you do?
And when you only have one sword type, you don't get too many differences.
Is it wrong that this makes me excited for when Assassin's Creed finally does Japan?
No, because Ubisoft will probably nail the combat a bit better, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are making that comparison. Of course, it's like, wow, the stealth in this looks nice. I mean, it's, I've seen better throughout the last few Assassin's Creed games, but it's like...
Yeah, like Assassin's Creed is supposed to be stealth.
Yeah. Not if you're going to penalize you for it, though.
Do they penalize you for doing stealth stuff?
Well, that was the implication.
because it's like, it is more honorable to be a samurai than to be a ghost, or the ghost does so many underhanded things. It's like, well, okay, it's like, usually whenever you play these kinds of games, it's usually incurred that, it's better to take the stealth approach than to just, murder everyone. But apparently this game's kind of taking the opposite course in regards to that.
Right. Well, you see, it all depends on how you murder people. That's the thing. If you murder people stealthily, it's dishonorable. But if you murder people like full frontal, then it's fine.
How do I put it? I won't
Okay, that's
take
an
any
interesting term to use.
Yeah, I won't take any implications right now. I'll watch the video and I'll come up with my own theories on that. But I hate to imply things, especially with game development.
Okay.
Because
I mean,
it can just kind of go anywhere.
That was literally what the narrator implied, though. Like the guy working on it. It was like some designer at Sucker Punch, but yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just okay looking now. Like,
we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested in it, but it's kind of falling into the same category as, like I said earlier, Days Gone, where it's like, I'm interested, but I'm not that interested to where I feel like I'm going to want to spend the money on it right away.
Yeah.
So, I was more interested in sushi than Sekiro, to be honest.
Okay.
But, after seeing this, not so much now. I haven't played Sekiro yet, but I kind of want to. It looks like a easy Dark Souls. I mean, Taylor, you've played it like 10 times.
I know.
But I was mainly interested in Ghost of Tsushima because of it being slightly easier than a Souls-like game and made by different people. I don't like Souls-like games, okay?
Okay.
And
Sure.
It looks bad. If it's only 2 months away, it looks real bad. So that's worrying. Maybe they're showing early footage. I don't know, like stuff that was done a few months back.
Dude, this doesn't. The lighting is so bad.
Yeah, the lighting's so bad.
Yeah,
so bad.
I think that's the big thing that's throwing me off. It's just like the lighting is just like overexposed almost. Like it's just insane.
Like I said, it's like the darks are way too dark and the brights are way too bright.
HDR, my man.
Matt, can you link?
Yeah, really.
HDR bait.
Yeah, accurate.
Can you link the
video?
thing that you're watching in the chat? That'd be great.
Yes, it is the video of gameplay from IGN, so that's about as good as I can get, really. I mean, so we rip it and upload it to our YouTube channel. No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Yeah, I posted it in the chat for everybody to take a look at. It's Going Ghost. True.
Going Ghost.
Thank you, Raskries.
Yeah. Oh man, how the mighty have
that
fallen.
looks horrible.
Yeah, there's some instances in it, particularly where it's like cloudy out, but still the sun is like bright as all hell.
Foggy-ish?
It's like it's like this half-assed cell shade style, and
the worst case was definitely the part I just witnessed around the 5:15-ish mark when he goes inside the shed that's been like ransacked.
Oh yeah.
5:15.
Yeah. Oh, this is another good point. Also, the detail shadows look horrible.
Goodness.
The finer detail shadows look complete garbage. I'm sorry. They look really bad.
I'm going to take a screenshot of this and post it in the Culture of Gaming Discord. Go there, by the way.
Yeah.
And because this looks like straight trash, like Jesus.
Yeah. This kind of
literally.
I'm gonna say this is like Sekiro and Breath of the Wild had a deformed child with each other.
Okay.
I'm gonna be real.
This looks like it's got film grain over it, to be honest.
Probably does, because it's more.
Well, I mean,
cinematic.
technically speaking, they were, touting the whole idea of how you could play the whole game in the black and white mode. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's filters. So
it would probably make the game look better, to be fair.
And it's like,
who's this? Who's this made by?
Sucker Punch.
Oh, Sucker Punch. That's
it's
made by the same people who did
the game with
Infamous.
the raccoon.
Yeah.
Well, Infamous was like a decent looking game as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the at where is it? 6:17. That looks good.
Mm-hmm.
That looks decent.
Yeah.
But it honestly looks like it's unrendered.
Can I just point out the really bad rope texture when he follows the fox to the shrine there, the little mini shrine? That rope texture looks horrible. Anyway, Yeah.
I don't even know how to spell
Get back a
Tsushima. Am
little
I
bit
spelling
more.
it right?
Tsushima.
I did spell right.
Okay.
Thank you, girlfriend who majored in Japanese.
Rope. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Rope texture? What do you mean?
So if you look at let me get the timestamp here. Hold on.
Yeah, it's like 5:17 or so.
You look
5:30.
at
Sorry.
hold on, where was it? If you look at 540, wait, hold on, I just screwed up. My bad. Hold on. Not at 617. That one looks okay. The rope texture at like 606, 607.
6:06.
That looked really, really bad.
Oh, what
Around
the hell?
rock.
Yeah, the rope around the rock looks pretty bad.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That's like not detailed at all. And what's the thing coming down from it? Like the triangular.
Those are little like paper things that they hang off the
Those are
ropes.
paper things. Those
Yeah,
are actually
that's
supposed
fine.
to look relatively.
And
like
then if
that.
you look at like the cliff, like in front of the samurai at the same pause mark at 607,
So bad.
606, the shadows are very pixelated, and they're not very like detailed at all. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I was really excited this game for a while, but now I'm just like, I'm not even sure if I'll buy this game. It doesn't seem all that well researched. It seems graphically pretty mediocre. Gameplay wise, it's just like a better combat experience playing Sekiro for the 11th time. Yeah.
Wait a second. This leaf. Wait, when he releases, where the hell is it? When he releases the leaf, so you see all the other leaves around it. It just goes in a straight line and doesn't move.
Yeah. Isn't the common held wisdom that games are supposed to look really, really good at the end of a console cycle?
Oh yeah, like straight up, Last of Us looked pretty damn good on the PS3.
It did great with the texture baiting. I remember that.
Yeah, it was really, really, really good for what it had to work with.
Theory.
Yeah.
I think this may be very early footage that they're showing us, because stuff is like, because there's still like lockdowns and stuff. I think it may be that they haven't been able to get new footage sorted, perhaps, and they're just like, hell, just go with an old video or an old like footage of the game.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Hopefully,
people said it would be sick if the top comment of the video says would be sick, so sick if while you're playing the black and white mode, the blood spilling is still bright red.
That'd be a cool effect.
That'd actually be.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Does it show the black and white mode?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I haven't watched enough of it. We'll find out by the end of this video. By the end of this podcast.
Probably, yeah.
I'll just fast forward through it, see if I can find anything real quick. Nope.
Yeah. I don't think the black and white mode has ever showed off. You know, they're trying to go for like the samurai movie vibe or whatever, but those are, I don't want to say bad, those are not very historically good, and
they're entertaining.
Yeah, but and it's like also Sekiro, which for the love of God has mythical creatures in it, is more historically accurate than this is coming off as.
Okay, so they do show the white and black mode at 16:30.
Okay.
16:30. Let's see.
See, I stopped watching around 10 minutes in.
16:40.
Oh yeah.
Even in that mode, it still looks trash. Like it improves it.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to look at the weird cell shading.
Yeah. This might actually be the better way to play the game.
Yeah.
Black and white mode, Japanese voices, English subs. We might be getting somewhere here.
What, are we watching anime all of a sudden?
Now just make the full game like this. Anyway. Alright, so I don't want to say I'm done trashing the game, but I think that's enough pixel peeping for Ghost of Tsushima.
That's enough for today.
Yeah, that's enough pixel peeping for Ghost of Tsushima. Moving on to games that have been in development for a while. Metroid Prime 4. How do we think it's going with the development of Metroid Prime 4? Because this story went up on my favorite gaming website, cultureofgaming.com, where Retro Studios, who took over the development of Metroid Prime 4.
Nice plug.
Thank you.
Dude,
Because Retro Studios, who did the original Metroid Prime games, so they're a really good studio, and Nintendo tasked them with developing Metroid Prime 4 after they burnt what they had to the ground and said, "Here, you do it."
Accurate.
Yeah, Oscar Navarro, again, our top news writer, wrote, since Retro Studios' inheritance of Metroid Prime 4, the company has gone out of its way to hire new talent from all over the industry. Now it seems that Retro has added some new individuals originating from some high-caliber games and studios. Initially reported by VGC, the Nintendo subsidiary has hired new VFX artists, people who contribute to the visuals of special effects within games like fires, lasers, etc., which there are plenty of all of those in Metroid, to work on Metroid Prime 4. These new members include Adad Morales from Battlefield Hardline, Brian Erk from Shadow the Tomb Raider, and Nicholas Wilson from Borderlands 3.
Okay.
So
that's a pretty good stack right there of talent.
Yeah.
Because I know Borderlands 3 is a very pretty game.
Yeah.
What was Battlefield Hardline was a Battlefield game. It always looks good.
Yeah.
It was absolute rubbish, but it looked okay.
Yeah.
Anything in Frostbite is gonna look okay.
Yeah, and straight up, Battlefield 1 is still the best thing to come out of Frostbite. You can't change my mind.
Right.
Yeah, Battlefield 1 looks the best by far. And I reckon it's probably one of the best Battlefields, to be honest.
Yeah, Battlefield 1 is really good.
It's my favorite Battlefield. I love Battlefield 4, but I think
Better than Battlefield 4, Taylor.
I was going to say, I still like Battlefield 4 the best, but whatever. Battlefield 1 is fun, too.
Yeah, it does what it's supposed to do very well.
Yeah, no, it's damn good
it really
doing
does.
it, too.
World War One.
Yeah.
Although
I love running around with a trench broom. It's so fun.
Every gun in the game is automatic, though.
No, it's
which
not.
is kind of funny. Well, okay, most guns in the game are automatic.
I run around with a pump shotty, boy. I run around taking tags like it's a joke.
Yeah. All right. So back to Metroid Prime 4.
goes.
We still think it's shaping up well, right? Things are moving along with it. So hopefully.
Considering that Nintendo has the standard, the balls to be able to reset the game from ground zero after 2 or 3 years of development.
Yeah.
It has to be going well.
And come out and say it. If that was EA, they'd just completely ignore it and just be like, "Oh yeah, we're getting there."
We're delaying
and then,
it.
5
Yeah, we're
years
just delaying
after.
it. Yeah.
Straight up, that was one of the biggest baller moves I've seen a gaming company do in a while. With that announcement.
100%.
Not many of them would actually own up to their mistakes before they actually occur. So
Exactly.
kudos to Nintendo on that one.
Yeah.
But apparently it was announced back in 2017, and it was early 2019 when we got that announcement for how they just scrapped everything and starting from scratch. So
Right.
Yeah.
if we're looking at it from that standpoint, it's okay, well, 1 year in development thus far, maybe. So, we'll see what happens. But there's still some confidence left. If we get to 2021 this time next year and it's still nothing, then we can raise our concerns then.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how far they're willing to go with the game. Because Metroid games aren't necessarily... They're very linear for the most part. You have your set tasks. It's not like Breath of the Wild where you could run around for 70 hours then do something. So it's more figuring out the path that you need to go and then building it around that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they must already have some things already figured out already. It's just to put it all together now at this point.
Yeah.
Hopefully, anyway.
And I hope they kill it with the art.
Hopefully, yeah. All right, and then, speaking of Nintendo sequels, the Breath of the Wild sequel has been dormant for some time. It's literally been about a year since we've heard anything about it. Which, to remain consistent with our previous logic and conversation and whatnot, it's not like we want more from it. It's just nearly pointing out, we haven't heard anything about this year. Nintendo seems to be pacing content pretty well.
Yeah. And they're doing the smart thing and not announcing stuff too early.
Yeah. I really want to know what Anthony's diddling about. If only he could tell us if he wasn't muted.
Okay, Taylor. I have other people I'm talking to,
Okay.
We're in the middle of a podcast. Be professional.
I am.
That's why I'm covering my mouth. Okay,
As you pop filter your mics endlessly.
Hell yeah. Okay, with what were we talking about? Prime 4, right?
No, we've shifted to the Breath of the Wild sequel, but okay.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I
quit
did know
zooming with your girlfriend.
Professional, my ass.
Professional. Okay, fine.
I called out as quickly as you try to cover it.
Matt, do you want me to fire you again? I'm happy
Oh,
to.
Lord.
Anyway,
waiting.
so
Come on.
you're waiting. Okay, fair enough. After the podcast, I'll be
Cool.
professional in that regard.
Alright.
So Breath of the Wild 2, we haven't seen anything from it in quite some time. It is Zelda, so I don't really feel like they need to constantly keep us updated about stuff. The Zelda team at Nintendo just do their own thing. Like, we didn't really see a whole heap from Breath of the Wild when that was coming out. We saw like 3 trailers and that was it.
3 trailers, and, like 1 or 2 demos of gameplay, and that was about it.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
periodic
that was it.
E3 appearance, and yeah.
It wasn't even at PAX 2017. It came out in 2017, right?
It came out in March 2017.
Yeah, so what? I think it was PAX 2016. It wasn't even at PAX. It was at E3, but it wasn't at PAX, which is kind of hilarious because Nintendo was so confident that it was going to go over well. Even though they had like kind of trailers and stuff running, they had a live demo at E3 and they didn't have one at PAX. Anyway, so do we really need to see stuff from Zelda? Like, we know it's going to be
No, we
great,
don't. That was the
right?
point I was
Hell
making.
no.
It was just more of a general question, and it's like, we don't think the Breath of the Wild sequel is possibly going the way of the Metroid Prime 4 route, and they're going to have to say in like a year's
way.
time, oh, we had to burn everything to the ground and start over.
See,
Take the shotgun out the back.
Yeah.
with the Legend of Zelda team, like even at their worst, they still make really good stuff.
What even is the worst
they really
Zelda
do.
game considered?
If you don't consider what was the CDI,
The CD,
whatever one-
yeah.
CDI.
Like,
Like outside of that, it kind of really depends on your opinion because
Okay.
everybody has respect for every other Legend of Zelda for the most part.
Yeah.
I guess.
what's the remake
probably,
they did?
I
the
think
remake.
Spirit Tracks is probably the
Ocarina
most
of
universally
Spirit.
hated one, right?
I was about to, Spirit Tracks is like one of the most hated ones because it's like a big linear Phantom Hourglass or Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Phantom Hourglass was pretty impressive for a console game or for a handheld game.
Okay,
the only
wait. I'm trying to... You interrupted me, Matt. I'm trying to figure out what... Like you do best. What was the remake that just came out last year for Switch?
Oh,
the Zelda
Link's
remake.
Awakening.
Yeah, that was
I'm still
hot
playing
trash.
through that one.
I feel like that's just
Link's
like your
Awakening was
opinion, man.
hot trash? What?
Why do you
Okay,
say
the
it's hot
frame
trash? I'm
rate...
enjoying it.
I feel like that's just your
frame
opinion,
rate
man.
was bad.
I haven't played it.
I read our review though, culturegaming.com, mind you.
I have the physical game and I've been enjoying it.
Okay, Matt, no worries. But like the frame rate on it keeps dropping and plummeting, and I've seen some like gameplay of it as well, and it just plummets like randomly every so often. So technically, it's not one of the better Zeldas. It's still an amazing game, mind you.
Well, you can argue it's one of those things where it's like Breath of the Wild. They had very large issue frame rates in the issue, but they managed to fix it for the most part down the
Yeah,
line.
they patched it, sure. And
Yeah,
that's probably more so an engine issue anyway.
Probably. But I personally, I haven't had issues with frame rates. I mean, I've never really noticed it or had hiccups.
Okay, so
I
they
guess.
must have patched it.
Duronsty in the
Because
chat, that's Andrew, who's usually on the podcast, says Skyward Sword. Yeah, I know. I don't personally care for Skyward Sword, mostly
Okay,
just because of
Andrew.
the control. Mostly just because of the controls.
So here's the thing: even as bad as Skyward Sword is, like I don't even consider it bad. Spirit
It's a
Tracks is
good
still
game.
hated. Spirit Tracks is still hated so much more. It's not even
Yeah,
a
it is.
competition.
Can I just talk about how much of a discount Skyward Sword is of Twilight Princess? Like, you
It's
don't
not
have
a discount.
Minna, you have Fee, you know, you don't have Zant, you
here's-
have that Michael Jackson looking dude.
Okay, I guess for beat to beat elements, yes, but
Yeah.
like the overall game is still very different.
It
compared
is,
to
yeah, it
Twilight
is definitely
Princess.
different, yeah. Lots of cool concepts.
Andrew, let me just address your comment real quick. You don't like Mario Kart. You don't like Mario Party. You don't like Skyward Sword. Your opinion's trash.
Okay,
See, now the real-
Skyward Sword's definitely down there in terms of the ranking, but unless you've played like
It's true.
go play the trilogy that is Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks.
100% Spirit
Spirit
Tracks
Tracks-
is easily the worst one out of those three.
Straight up, it's
Like-
not even a it's like it's still pretty good for a Zelda game, but it's like
I like trains. I like trains.
Honestly,
I
I
like
like.
Yeah.
I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other Andrew, why are you saying get better hardware? What do you want about?
It's true.
He was talking about your frame rate issues.
All my opinions are trash, but it's fun to spout trash. Okay.
I don't know, Mike. What do you think?
I like Twilight Princess best.
Okay, that was my opinion until Breath of the Wild came out.
Yeah. Mind you that, when we do get Breath of the Wild 2, we'll get it. It's just that right now, I feel like that, Nintendo does things differently. So when it comes to their early game announcements, I can't even remember the last time they actually done such a thing, honestly, where they announced a game so far in advance. Not counting Smash, because, there will always be a Smash for a new console, of course, but yeah,
So
for
I guess-
Breath of the Wild 2, it'll be ready when it's ready, so honestly,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not too
Don't
concerned or
stress about
worried
it too
about
much.
it. I just want to
Four
get
Swords
there when we
Adventure.
get there.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh yeah, that one's an
yeah.
interesting.
That's yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was-
You
that was-
guys
People
got a good one
wanted
there.
that remaster the most, I believe.
Well, so like Four Swords Adventure is very tricky. I imagine if it was remastered right now, it'd be very good. It's just sometimes the controls on that thing are hard to deal with.
Is
I don't know.
Force
Do you have a Game Boy Advance on you to play a game on the GameCube?
I have a Game Boy Advance.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of the Four Swords, that one person
Yeah.
was playing with the Game Boy Advance for reasons.
Yeah. I guess the closest you'd probably get is was it Triforce Heroes? That was the 3 Links one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was the multiplayer one recently.
that was also a fun one.
Okay,
I
is
heard
Force
that's a really good like a puzzle game.
is Four Swords Adventure different to Four Swords?
Yes.
Yes.
Four Swords Adventure
One is
is a Four Swords
remember
Adventure is a GameCube one.
So and Force wait, what? Oh, it's a remake of Four Swords
Yeah.
Yeah.
for GameCube. Okay, sure. Yeah, because a lot of people wanted Four Swords as the remake instead of what the hell is it called? The one that was remastered.
Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker.
No, the one you've got, Matt.
Link's Awakening.
Oh, Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening. I keep forgetting the name of it. Thank you, Mike.
Jesus.
So they wanted Four Swords instead of Link's Awakening. A lot of people did, at least.
Yeah, honestly, I love Minish Cap. I'm just going through the list
Yeah,
right now. I think
Cap's
Minish
good as well.
Minish Cap's like the definition of like how Wind Waker HD is going to be a timeless game in terms of graphics.
Minish Cap is so cool. I love it.
Minish Cap holds up so well. It's insane.
Okay,
They
one of the
remastered
neighbors is
it
having a
first,
party and they are bumping. My God. Okay, sorry.
Nice.
They remastered Majora's Mask, didn't they, for 3DS?
Yes, because
What
they
did they
were
just-
Ocarina of Time, so it was an
Ocarina of Time
easy
too.
port. It took them like
Sure.
a year, if I remember, as well, from one release to the
I'm
next.
pretty sure that was just a staggered release, though. I don't think they were like actively.
To be fair, they could have just done the same thing they did with Majora's Mask and give a year and do something.
Made a new
Yeah,
Zelda
that's
game
what
that
Capcom
year.
did with the Resident Evil titles.
That's probably
Literally
yeah.
for both.
That's pretty much what they're doing with the new Zelda game, the next one. I'm excited to hear the name of it.
The breath, the exhale, I don't know. The
The Thirst of Ganondorf.
Dude, it's not gonna be something like that.
Master the Wild.
Jesus Christ.
The Dungeons of Ganondorf.
Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, they can make different
I know.
names
I
for
know.
follow-up games.
I know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Plus,
really
in
fast,
Skyward Sword,
oh,
like
sorry.
it also had one final point on this. Skyward Sword, pretty solid story, and what was it? Fee or Faye will make you cry in the end.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't cry when Midna left? Okay.
I don't know. I kind of actually laughed at the ending where
You know,
Minna actually was the first person to actually make Link speechless. That was actually possibly one of the greatest moments in Zelda history.
Yeah.
yeah. So like the Midna thing, yes and no. Yes, because I mean she was leaving. No, because she had a completely different look.
Yeah.
I was kind of off-put that she is now like a larger than Link.
It's like, oh, she's hot now.
Oh, that's a thing.
And you also have to keep in mind, you have to remember that you're also coming off of one of the most badass moments of Link murdering the hell out of Ganondorf.
True.
And then not only does he get up, but he also gets his neck snapped. So it's like, yeah, best ending ever to a Zelda game right here.
Yeah. And what, like, with the Fee, whatever. Like, the story component to her being in the Master Sword the entire time throughout you playing, no matter what timeline, no matter what game, if you had the Master Sword, she was there with you. Like, that, like, realization, mind-blowing. And the way they handled that was amazing, in my opinion.
Bit of a Zelda fan, are you, Matt?
Oh yeah,
Just
my
a little
favorite
bit.
gaming series, hands down. Fanboy, yes.
All right. So we're
Okay.
let's move on from.
Just really fast,
oh, yeah.
if I could ask one other quick question, just to tie everything we've discussed together.
Yeah.
This week we also had another game that was also announced just fairly recently.
Oh yeah, Paper Mario Origami.
yeah.
Yeah, but here's the
yeah.
thing that I also want to draw attention to, which is that's the date, right? Yeah, right here, which is July 17th. What else
Yeah,
is coming
that's-
out on July 17th again?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, so now I must ask you guys, what do you think is the better pairing? The Samurai and Paper Mario, or Isabelle and Doom Guy?
Definitely
You better
Isabelle and
guess
Doom
right.
Guy.
Exactly, thank you.
Any day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any day
a lot
of
of
the week.
people were trying to, start up another thing where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, Samurai and Paper Mario, the best of friends, where it's like, yeah, no, these two don't hold a
It's not
candle to
even
Isabelle and Doom
close.
Guy.
Yeah. Because it's so funny. Because like you just have the like complete and utter like demon ripping, hell slaying brutality that is Isabelle, versus the innocent
goodness,
mayoral secretary that is Doom Guy. Anyway.
Just kitted
Yeah.
out in a full Praetor armor.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, but-
just like writing up those laws and
Yep.
And
taxing
Yeah,
what?
but
people
That's
and all
kind
that
of
kind of
the
stuff.
thing that's kind of caught me off guard a bit here, because it's like, we just got the announcement for a new Paper Mario game. And mind you, this one looks a bit better than the last two that we've gotten because they don't have stickers or painting or whatever. But then at the same time, though, it's like,
Cool.
we're talking about a game that just got announced that's coming out in 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I don't know if it's because of current events that Paper Mario just so happened to get pushed up in release time, maybe. Or if it was that their intention was to just have it ready by July. But it's like, kind of weird where it's like, this seems like this would be a higher up game, but it's coming out so soon, so to speak.
You know what I think it honestly was? It was a test of, like, what I would like to believe it is a test of two things. One, how close can you announce a game to its release and have it be sell well? I think so. Like,
Well, I mean, according to
That-
Apex Legends, it has to be like a day. It can be like
No,
a
like
day
2
and be
days,
fine.
wasn't
Yeah.
like, so it's like, well, it's Nintendo, it's a different scale, I guess, because like, and the second one is how much media buzz can this get, I guess.
Well,
'Cause it-
that's
like,
kind
this
of
was
the
a
problem
hot drop.
because
And everybody was kind of saying like, damn, that's really close to release, and it got the name out pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Well,
Mm,
again,
yeah.
though, we got to keep in mind that the last two Paper Mario titles haven't exactly been well received, or at least in comparison to the earlier Paper Mario titles. So it's
They're-
like that's kind
they're
of
more
the
of a
reason why I'm
niche,
a
I
little bit
guess, yeah.
concerned here, because it's like,
Mario
don't
RPG,
exactly
that's
know
all
how
I need to
to
say.
play out. But I don't know. I guess this also ties in with the other Nintendo rumor of how Pikmin 3 is apparently right around the corner too. Apparently.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, I don't know if it's because of, again, if the COVID has decided to just literally screw up everyone and Nintendo's just
The
taking
Rona.
advantage of
The Rona.
the Ronas.
I went to that.
Chan.
But honestly, it's like, it seems interesting to try to consider, but then at the same time, it's like, what's exactly going to happen with Nintendo by the end of the year? Because technically, Nintendo has no... I could say that. Nintendo has no end of the year plans, it seems. Or at least, especially in comparison
They
to
have-
Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah, they haven't announced
Yeah.
anything in terms of like, was it fall or holiday season this year? So
Okay, so I want to kind of jump off onto, it's still Nintendo related, but Nintendo have actually announced that they are like extending their mobile section, unfortunately, and we're supposed to be getting a heap of new Mario games on mobile. This was like announced yesterday, I believe. And they haven't given any release dates or what they're planning on. Mobile news. And yeah, I just noticed this yesterday, actually. And yeah, so that's something that they might be completely scrapping, like, well, not scrapping, but like kind of changing their development approach a little bit, and maybe like focusing more on mobile than Switch, perhaps due to the Rona. Again, could be. I don't know.
Well,
how bad is it in Japan?
It's not very bad at all in Japan. That's the thing.
So okay.
Yeah, Japan's been very on top of their game there, so
they got incredibly lucky with it.
Here we go.
And two, the government pretty much straight up refused to explicitly shut down anything, because, well, one partially under the Japanese constitution, the federal government nor prefectural government, which are like, in the U.S. that's like our federal and state governments, under Japanese constitutional law, they can't order businesses or like people to stay in place or shut down or anything like that.
Yeah, sure.
So they can't legally do that. So the most they can do is just, encourage people to limit their social outings. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
So I can read, this is relating to the Mario, not Mario, but the mobile platform. This is coming straight from the horse's mouth, or Nintendo, that is. Considering how well we will position our mobile business in the future, we're not necessarily looking to continue releasing many new applications for the mobile market, as much as we are looking at the continuation of our mobile business as a way to make active use of Nintendo IP, game characters, worlds, and so on. In the interest of maximizing the entirety of Nintendo's business, for us, the direct purpose of releasing mobile applications is to bring games that use Nintendo IP to the large install base of smart devices worldwide, bringing more consumers into contact with the worlds of Nintendo games, and also bringing ongoing services to fans of individual Nintendo IP on mobile platforms. So that's basically all I said. This was yesterday, so this is kind of like hot off the presses, I guess.
Okay.
So unfortunately, who wants more mobile stuff? Not me.
Not me.
No,
Don't mind me. I just played Dr. Mario over here, just so that you guys may.
You mean Tetris?
What I'm doing.
no.
No, it's literally Dr. Mario here that I'm playing right now.
Yeah, so Tetris.
It's Tetris.
Taylor's trying to make a joke, but it's not even close.
Yeah, I know. All right. Okay, so yeah,
it's Metris. Instead of Tetris, it's Metris.
Huh.
It's hilarious.
That was less funny than what Taylor said.
Pity laugh.
Okay, Matt, shut up.
Pity chuckle. Okay.
I
think we're gonna end it on that note, as we've been going for over 2 hours now, and we're about out of time here. So, oh no. The other two things that we didn't end up saying, I'm just gonna do a quick shout out. NVIDIA announced the Ampere A100, which is this big,
looks ballers,
massive server graphics processor GPU sort of thing, and it's paired and supplemented by the latest AMD EPYC processors. So that's pretty neat. And then Taiwan Semiconductor, also known as TSMC, is going to build a $12 billion US dollars fabrication plant in Arizona, of all places, by 2023, which will be ripe for production of their 5nm stuff, as well as the upcoming 3nm stuff. So, and it comes pre-thermal tested, Lamau, because of the summers in Arizona. So anyway,
comes pre-what?
Pre-thermal tested.
Oh no.
When you get 120
you know how hot it
degrees
gets in Arizona? It's like 120 sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
130 on a good day.
Me and Taylor live here. We know.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that?
What's that to communist units?
No one cares.
Okay.
Inferior units.
Oh, 54.4. Dang, boy.
They're called footprints on the moon, not meter prints.
Okay, look. We used to use...
Yeah, then you downgraded, like everything else you've done.
Yeah, I know. I realize that. It's an unfortunate circumstance, but I'm not the Prime Minister of our country, so...
Hey, wait, really quick, does Australia drive on the left or right side of the road?
Left side.
God.
Oh, they got that from the Brits.
I know.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we 100% did.
It's weird. Japan is the one country in the world that didn't get that from the Brits. They did it because
Japan wasn't occupied by.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is,
never been occupied.
well, okay, so China was
by
occupied.
two big boys.
China was occupied by Britain, but they
Yeah.
never. But they drive on the right side of the road in China.
I wouldn't be surprised if China drives in the middle of the road, to be honest.
China drives wherever on the road, to be honest.
Hey, I couldn't help
Okay, let's
myself.
wrap this up before this gets even more awkward.
What was this? Oh yeah, so it's like the reason why Japan drives on the left side of the road is because like samurai used to it's like if there were two samurai, no, this is actually how the story goes, right? So if two samurai were walking down opposite sides of the road, opposite directions, if they were on the right side of the road, so it's like the right side of the road traveling north, and then another samurai was on the other side of the road traveling south, then it's like their two swords would be like next to each other as they passed and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have made it optimal for attacking each other if needed. Because then you have to, yeah. Anyway. Matt, that looked like that just floored you.
Just more.
I'm serious.
About.
I'm serious. Look it up.
I don't doubt it.
Okay, anyway.
But it's such a niche reason because how many
Okay, who
samurai
cares?
were there in comparison of like regular civilians?
Samurai were about 5% of the population.
Oh, okay, that's actually a pretty significant chunk.
Yeah. All right, anyway.
I didn't think it was actually that big.
Okay. Anyway, so, yeah, that will wrap it up, in fact, with that little fun tidbit.
Yeah, I guess if you want to find more information about like tech stuff like that, visit our affiliated YouTube channel, Tech for Thought.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
Oh, what's up?
So, you're probably getting to this, but with regard to games releasing,
Yes.
we have, what's today? Yeah, okay. So, on the 19th, we have the Wonderful 101 remaster, which we were talking about a while back on the podcast as well. That is going to PC, PS4, Xbox One on May 22nd. Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath expansion is going to be PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and, wow, Stadia on May 26th.
Wow.
Wait, no, I've gone too far.
I was about to say, it's the 16th. That's more than a week.
Yeah, okay. Crucible, here we go, I'm on track again, is coming to PC on May 20th. And a game that you guys demoed at E3, we have Maneater, which is coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One on May 22nd.
Oh, that was the shark one. That's narrated by
Oh,
Cyril.
okay.
It's narrated by Cyril from Archer.
We didn't demo it. They demoed it for us.
But it was pretty funny to watch. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
actually
look at it.
was
Sorry.
Cyril the voice actor or
yeah,
being
Chris
the,
Parnell is his real name.
Yeah, he's Cyril, and you know it.
Yeah.
And it was like he did such an amazing job, even though like the game crashed like a couple of times because it was like pre-alpha.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah.
early alpha, if pre-alpha.
It was still so entertaining with the snippets that he had, and it sounds like they're genuine things that he would probably say.
Yeah,
not
if you're a
just
fan of the
scripted
TV
stuff.
show Archer, it's gonna sound literally, it's gonna sound good. Anyway.
Wasn't that one of the guys you punched, Matt?
No,
No.
Oh.
Well, okay, so the guy that Matt
same
punched.
developers.
Yeah, the guy that Matt punched
Oh,
was from
okay.
Tripwire Interactive also, but those were the guys who
decked
showed
him in
us.
the face.
Those were the guys who showed us Aspire, which was a
Smash it in
VR
the face.
game, and
It seemed like a pretty fun stealth VR game.
yeah, which I apparently innovated in terms of gameplay when I played it. So
Okay, so for those who are unaware, there's two stories that come out of that's the game that we demoed. First, Taylor went up, and it was supposed to be like this stealth game and whatnot, and the developers, me and the developer, trying to hint at Taylor of like different takedown methods. Mine is shooting them in the face. We're talking about like, oh yeah, you can walk up behind him and like yell like stop or like point the gun at them and say freeze and whatnot, and they'll drop their weapon and put their hands up. This is when Taylor jumped down onto like a top of a pillar overlooking a guard, and as we just like finished it up, we looked at Taylor, looked at the screen of what he was doing. He lined up the shot right behind the enemy's head, and just pulled the trigger without any delay, as if he did not hear a single thing we said. And it was the funniest thing because we were talking loud, like we were trying to obviously drop that there's different methods besides just killing.
Hint, hint, do this.
And you like run up and knock them out of the back of the head by pistol whipping them as well. And so my turn came up. I went to demo this, and I was trying to knock a dude guy out in the back of the head. And I was getting flustered because I couldn't reach, because my eyes are weird, I guess, because they don't work with VR very well. They have to get really focused, and they just don't reach it. And I literally took 3 steps forwards and went, POP! And I decked the developer in the face.
He was super cool about it too. The guys over at Tripwire and Anthem were way friendly, by the way. They were very nice
so cool.
people. Yeah.
I hope we can meet them again one day or like do business with them because they were really cool. But like I straight up decked the dude in the face.
Nice.
I wasn't even like I didn't pull my punch or anything. I went for it because then I'm not knowing my surroundings. I went for the punch because I'm intending to knock a thing out.
Yeah. Anyway,
that responded pretty well.
I think we were also
make him
homeless.
blade,
Okay, but yeah, that story's been told many times. All right, Mike, where can the people find you on Twitter?
I don't see an Australian flag in the moon.
In case if you want to follow me for whatever reason, but please do. I'm over at Twitter as MAS8705. MAS8705.
Nice.
Okay, Anthony.
I am at SameAntman19. I don't tweet at all, hardly, but I do manage the site's social media. So if you're wanting to get in contact with me, you can do so through the community Discord or through any of the social media channels.
Okay.
Hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
Be real with me 1 second. Why don't you just plug the COG stuff then instead of your own personal stuff?
Because we did that initially, there's no point in doing it twice.
I guess you're right.
Okay. Matt, where can the people find you on Twitter?
They can find me at Filmed by G-Man. Because my usual title is G-Man Films. Because that was taken, I had to go with G-Man. Or Filmed by G-Man.
Nice.
You know where else you could find me in Taylor, perchance? At the place I've been plugging this entire time. Tech for Thought, our affiliated YouTube channel. For all the tech-related info you want to see when we do post up, there is a link now for it in the comments. So you can check me and Taylor out. Check out me and Taylor there. And you can also find Taylor at where, Taylor?
You can find me at Infurious7809 on Twitter. That is at INFERIUS7809. And I have just launched a campaign as of this podcast. Literally in the middle of this podcast, I tweeted it out. Cool. Atlas, give us more Trauma Center stuff now that you're done with Persona 5. Okay?
Okay.
So, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the latest thing. Help me out here, guys.
Happen.
Help me out. Okay,
nice.
Please. Anyway. So thank you all so much for watching. We will see you all next time, same place, probably different cast of characters. I'm not even sure yet. Have a good day, good evening, good night.
Months.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.